the we really want to be the people that take care of everything for your marketing aspect of things. Our marketing approach, obviously, digital visibility, super important nowadays. The Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatnot, and portfolios and marketing. Every job I get or that we get, it obviously helps us leverage that content that we produce for them and the work that we put out for them to convince for our future clients and whatnot. Referral leverage. Um, Word of mouth is super important nowadays. It's the best way of marketing, and testimonials, of course, to accelerate. Strategic partnerships, PGA network access, and yep, marketing approach for that. And this is the team for right now. There's just two of us. I'm Austin, of course. And so I have a bachelor's in PGA golf management and a minor in entrepreneurship. And obviously have the passion of being in photography, videography, the drone world my whole life. So I kind of have this creative eye as well. So I really want to be able to travel to golf courses, really manage the lighting and spend a couple of days on site um, to really take the shots that really drive the importance of that club and what really represents that club. My co-founder is Hortense Zadra. She's a French woman, a really good friend of mine. And she has a Bachelor in International Business and a Master's in Innovation and Transformation of Entrepreneurship. And she's currently, for the last 3 years, she's been the business developer for a digital marketing company over in France. She takes care of the European market and a Mexican market as well. So she's the one that's onboarding all the clients, and she manages and manipulates all the teams to deliver, obviously, the required and satisfaction that the customers want. The total addressable market that I've kind of come up with is the golf industry is the $226 billion industry. Um, the marketing industry or the marketing aspect of the golf industry is well beyond the 700 million. But kind of being very conservative here. With even being conservative, we have very interesting numbers. So we target the 200 million of those 700. And in the next 3 to 5 years, looking to capture 150,000 to 1.25 million in 3 to 5 years. These are kind of this is our monetization strategy. Kind of how we could break down some pricing. Pricing will vary depending on every single client, really on the demands. So from logo design, rebranding, website builds, um, and yeah, the SEO to SEA, price varies from a local to national to international. Um, and then yeah, and then of course we want the reoccurring customers. It's always super interesting. Everybody wants that. And I think there's a lot to be done in this niche market to have recurring customers. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to watch your volume, ladies and gentlemen. I just have one little clip for you guys that I made just to kind of showcase a little bit of the work. Just a short video that I made of Laurel Oak Country Club in Sarasota, Florida. Oh, no, image quality wasn't fantastic there due to all of us being on here and it being directly on Canva. But I want to thank you guys for taking your time and listening to me. I am open to any questions and constructive feedback, both positive and negative. And below, you can see my contact information, obviously starting with my email, my LinkedIn, and then social media. That is my tag, my username, and then, of course, my phone number. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate it. We'll open up for questions. Sharon, I know you're on. You spent your career in marketing. Any thoughts and suggestions for Austin, especially tackling the European market?
Yeah, that was one of my questions is that if you're going after the US market, right, the domestic market, who are you competing against? And then what's your unique proposition when I look at it? I think it's a great concept, but you're competing against lots of people. Why would your product be the product or service that the market would want?
Absolutely. Good question. Um, yeah, so domestically speaking in the US, there is quite some competition for sure. I don't think it's a very saturated market in either, or either. Obviously, Jason keeps on bringing up the Buffalo Group and the Club Essential and all those guys. And yes, of course, they're established. And it's also good to, as a young 24-year-old that has a fresh vision to the golf industry, um, I was born with my phone in my hand pretty much, like the younger generations. And I kind of know, I feel, well, we know what is going to appeal more to the future members and the future players of this industry. Um, and I gotta say that even with all those big competitions that they have out there right now and whatnot, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I feel like the golf industry is in a also it's an industry that has so much money, but we kind of have stayed back a little bit we haven't really modernized our digital, presence. We don't really
Mhm.
understand the importance of that. I feel like I could definitely bring that to the table. And yeah, I just we've always been taught through the PGA education, grow the game. I'm not here to, I mean, obviously I'm here to make money, but I feel like if we have the eye, the vision, and the drive to do it, I think we could do something really cool. And yes, of course, there's
Good.
some
Okay.
interesting competition out there, but
All right.
Thank you. David, you have your hand raised?
Yes. Kind of expanding off Sharon's question there, Austin. Obviously you showed some really nice examples of the work and it looks really beautiful and everything. You talked a little bit about, website designs and, that kind of space, kind of what you were talking about with the other players in the space. From my perspective is, from a member side, the members need to be able to, make reservations still and things that are integrated well with our existing, club management software. Do you kind of see your product supplementing a website, or do you see it kind of, taking over website? And again, just to say that, you know, because there's so many functions that a club website can do from the member side, not so much from the from a prospective member side, but more for an existing member. There's a lot of different portlets that the member needs to be able to do. How do you kind of see interacting with software that needs to talk to the to the club management software?
that's a really good question. I'd like to really build off of that. I don't really know the concrete answer to that. I will have a little follow-up to that.
Okay.
But I'd like to take that into consideration and come back to you about that. Um, yeah, I think you're right. The membership side of a website is very intricate.
Mhm.
Um, do I have a solution to replacing a website? Not necessarily at the moment, right off the top of my head. I'd like to come back and circle back with you. Um, but I think with obviously the use of AI and stuff like that, I think we'll be able to understand websites. And there's still, there's already that where we can read where most interactions occur on websites and how we can really, either convert customers into public golf courses. I don't know how on a members aspect of things we could really change much. Um, I think we can enhance the experience, the visual and the user experience. That's always up for grabs. Um, so yeah, I'd really like to. I'll jot down your information and have a follow-up email for you on that.
Perfect. That'd
Thank
be
you,
great.
David.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, great response, Austin. Is as an entrepreneur, you're not going to have the answers to every question. So the fact that you'll go back and research it and get back to them says a lot. So I had a question for you. Obviously you're young, AI is everything. How do you envision incorporating that into Golfer Studio in the coming, 3 to 4 years?
I think the use of AI in there could be, especially in the automation of social media. You guys said clubs can on really already do that. Um, Programming, the AI will be able to program, you insert your data, your images and whatnot. Your The AI in the future, I believe, will be able to kind of, input the schedule, analyze your followings and algorithms and whatnot. I think AI is capable of a lot of things, unfortunately, too.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, right now we would use AI in terms of, automate, like if we had to use for social media and whatnot, if we had to manage accounts, it'd be a lot of um AI, relying on AI to analyze data so we could, go quicker for us to understand each and every single club instead of really doing deep research and taking time after time to really understand the following of that specific golf course or that account. I think the data that AI can take out and we can produce um, content for into converting more engagement towards that club, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, what else? I see it in photo and video editing. It's huge. It's insane, actually. Um, I use AI to do voiceovers. I use AI to remove little specks on my, that dust that I had on my lens. I can add a sun. I can add anything. It's actually insane. Yeah, it's super powerful tool. I think it's really not really completely relying on AI is also a huge thing.
Right.
But yeah,
And then I just got one final question for you, just so all of those are listening. Um, where are you in just, your development? I mean, are you starting to look at raising capital, building an advisory board, kind of a little bit of everything? Just kind of just, spend a minute sharing where you're at as an entrepreneur.
yeah, sure thing. I spent a lot of time this year building Golfer Studio. Last 2 months, I've kind of laid back off of it a little bit just to take a step back and really analyze how I really want to attack it without taking wrong steps in the wrong direction. Um, And today, last 2 months, I've moved out of a city. We're moving to Barcelona in 2 weeks from now when I get back from Indonesia. Um, and once I get settled in, I really want to go, 100% at it. And where am I at in terms of funding and whatnot? I've landed uh, 2 gigs that have been really cool for me. Um, and they're a good payout, but those payouts I need to there's a bunch of technology I need to invest in.
Reinvest, yeah.
Especially I have this $1,200 drone. It's incredible. It's insane. It's producing what you guys just saw. It's not professional. It is professional grade, but it needs to be superior. I'm looking at 5 grand there. I'm looking at another camera with several different lenses that are going to run me a beautiful check as well. Today, I think I'm looking at concrete, like I would be really happy with 15 to $20,000 tomorrow, to really get myself the results I want in terms of digital assets that I can give to a club.
Okay.
And in terms of an advisory board, obviously it's always good to help. I would love to be open to that, but I haven't really thought too deep into it, to be quite honest with you. And I really want to build that with Hortense, and I want to take the right steps at a healthy rate, do quality over quantity at first as well. Um, so those are my real objectives. And I really want to have everything really solidified with at least a project in kind of each of my domains before PGA show. and kind of get down there to PGA show and shoot my shot with some network and some connections and whatnot, do some sales.
Okay. Well, very good, Austin. Hey, appreciate it. Get your butt to bed. It's late. And you did a fantastic job. Jason Dale, who's a entrepreneur, tech mind, SaaS modeling, he's got a question. I'm gonna email that to you. So because it's gonna take you a little bit of time to get through. So I'll hook you guys up in an email thread and send his question along, and you can respond to tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect. Will
Well,
do.
thank you, Austin. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Okay, folks, and then when 12:25, we had a little bit of shift in the schedule. We have Tom Narramore who's going to be joining us, who's got a really interesting platform on how clubs are essentially holding Calcuttas and betting, and from a legality standpoint, he's got that covered with some technology that he's built, and that kind of goes out outside of the club world itself. So, got a couple minute break if you want to grab some coffee or whatnot, and then he should be logging in here at 12:25.
Hey, Jason, Dick Copland, I wanted to let you know I'm on. I'm sorry I was late. I'm having trouble with my laptop. As you can see, the camera's not working, but the sound is. So
Okay.
I'm able to see all of you and I'm able to listen. So I am listening in. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
And Jason, I'll send that question you had over to Austin, then he can respond back. That was a good one.
Oh, thanks, man.
Okay. Okay, we have Tim Rowe joining us. So that's very good. And I got Tom in the waiting room, so we'll bring him in here in about a minute. Hey, Tim.
Jason, how are you guys?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. You made it just in time for our next presenter. He's coming on in 1 minute.
Perfection as usual. What can I say?
Astute. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Tom now. Tom?
Hello.
Oh, sir.
How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for being so flexible today and jumping into this time slot.
You betcha. You betcha. Thanks for having me.
Yep, yep. Well, we're going to go ahead. It's 12:25 and jump right into it. So, just a little preface on Tom. We talked, I guess, back in the springtime about a company that he's been working on for a couple of years now, and got to a point where it's really, really interesting and scalable, seeking investment and or a strategic partner, and thought this would be the perfect venue for him to come on, just share high level what he's thinking, what he's doing, and then again, if anybody wants to meet with Tom's sidebar and kind of dig a little bit deeper, he can send over an NDA and make sure everybody's on the same page, and go from there. So, Tom, I'm not gonna steal any more of your stage. Welcome and thanks so much.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Jason. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, wherever you are sitting around the globe. We in the IT world know that the world is actually flat and the sun never sets. So, been at this a long, long time. As you can see, all of my gray hair and whatnot. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to rip through this really fast at a high level. I'm going to leave, 4 million things on the floor. And if you'd like to follow up and dig deeper, let's do that. Quick about me, have M&A in my background in the dot-com space. From that experience, learned a lot about IT, all the way around the entire ecosystem back in the day, and hung my own software shingle in 2006. Cut my teeth in payment processing, then went into law enforcement, software solutions, custom and support from the feds all the way down to local. And in 2018, got a stupid idea to build a golf app that actually settled real money wagers between players on different courses at the same time. That was the original concept. What came out of that 3.5 year, call it market fit, by the way, serial entrepreneur, not my first rodeo. I've had multiple exits. I'm going to show you the team that we put together since 2018. But we ran that golf app, and what came out of that is a very unique, one of its kind, only certified digital wallet. So let me jump into the presentation, everybody, and run you through here. So let me share my screen real quick. Can everybody see that? Nod your head. No. Ta-da. How about wrong screen?
There you go. Now we can see it.
That was the wrong screen. Sorry. I've got multiple up here. Here we go. Bear with me. All right, guys, we're going to speed through this. Everybody see that now?
Yes, sir.
All right, gamification. We've all heard that term, hopefully, but what is gamification? Operators of various sports brands. We just deal in the sports and ad tech space now. Again, digital wallet that we license as a B2B product. But ad tech is the traditional foundation for monetization of sports brands, right? They're trying to get people to purchase things in various and sundry ways. Um, the new sort of forefront now is gamification. Instead of sending somebody an ad, send them a game to play, right? This has various forms depending on the industry that you're talking about, whether it's sim racing, sim golf, or on green grass golf, right? Or at a sports entertainment space, hitting a baseball, cricket ball, or what have you. We all know that that industry is growing. Not knowing who's on the call, but one of the things that we're talking to about several software operators in the golf space is helping out with the on-course or private course credit book or semi-private course. I know that's a pain point as well. So let's get into this. So gamification, that's where we're headed. That's what we're solving. One of the things that we're solving. All right. So as I said, I got to get your guys' faces out of my notes here. Sorry. There we go. Um, how do companies turn loyal fans into loyal customers, right? We believe we've got the solution. By the way, we've got 4 enterprise contracts already signed, flying to Salt Lake City to start our first enterprise international deal. We'll go live in October. I can speak about that at the end. But companies understand that gamification is the new play. The hard part, the complicated part, the risky part, and the really expensive part is what they know about their fans and players want to be able to win real money, not just a new driver or a baseball mitt or cleats. Players want to be able to play for real money. To do that, again, you saw my gray hair. This is where I got it in 2019 and 2020, gaining our compliance and putting all of the legality and compliance together. All right. So they're in a build or buy situation. We offer on the buy the license B2B platform. We run as a complete white label. All right. So that is exactly our solution, right? We are a mobile payments fintech company, really, at the end of the day. Yes, I've got 60 engineers on my bench and have had those since 2006. We were doing customization, but now we help these large enterprises or even smaller enterprises integrate and support this digital wallet under their brand, should they choose. D3 just runs in the background, and we have a branded digital wallet for them. All right. Sorry, guys, that I'm speeding through this, but I only know we have just a few minutes.
Fine.
What's the industry look like, right? It is enormous. You all know the mobile payments side, right? And the mobile gaming side as well. It's just absolutely giant and growing. And so, yeah, you see a T in there. It is monster. We've opened up a new vein in the last 90 days in the sim racing industry with the popularity of F1 and what that industry is doing to actually train gamers to be actual professional on course in a real car driver is mind-boggling, and it is exploding around the world. There's over 200 million uh, sim racers across the around the globe and expanding. It's ridiculous how big it is. So these numbers are true. Our serviceable addressable market is in the hundreds of billions. All right. So who are our customers? Not only golf, we cut our teeth in golf. So golf simulators already signed as True Golf and About Golf. Wondershot is another golf company of ours. I'm under NDA with many of the golf companies that are all near and dear to your heart. I can't release their names, but if I were to say them, you know who they are. Top 50% of the software and operator companies on the sim, as well as the software and golf course management side, is who we're dealing with, and growing through the golf industry. However, I want to talk about two things. I already talked to you about sim racing, which is giant. Esports and the gaming world with the peer versus peer for real money is enormous as well. So that's growing. But now that you know that we do this real money, over 18, over 21, wherever you are, we have a one of a kind compliance engine that manages it all through AI. We are certified to operate in over 100 countries and process transactions, escrow wagers, and pay out real money to the winners. Again, in over those 100 countries. But let me talk about youth sports here in a minute, here for just a minute. One of our clients, which is a national league, that goes all the way into the professional side. They have a giant push for their youth sports. That's where they feed their pro league. Because our ledger is tokenized, we're going to talk about tokenization here in a second. Our ledger works very well. It's plug and play for a methodology that's been around in the gaming world for many, many years. It's called play to earn. There is no money involved. It's virtual tokenization, but those tokens can only be used within the ecosystem. So in this youth case, our players will be all youth. They will participate in sort of a Eagle Scout, if you will, gamification platform through their mobile device, take out the garbage for their neighbors, complete these physical betterment opportunities within the platform to get faster, better at their sport, win these tokens, and then these tokens are sponsored, and then they can use these tokens to buy cleats and jerseys and travel and all of that type of thing. So just wanted to throw that out there. We're not only the over 18 market.
Very cool.
Future state of digital payments, speed over this. You guys know this, but I just want to highlight this on the third tab. Our system, we use the phrase play, win, and spend. We offer a platform by which users can use VIP points, what have you, whatever in that ecosystem, or load their wallets and then forevermore use the tokenization to play games, increase their bankroll, win, and then spend those tokens within those ecosystems. All right. I do also want to highlight something that talking about our key differentiators. Because of my background in software as well as payments, key differentiator here is the way that we use the tokenization uniquely. This is also what opened up our certification with the gaming boards that then opened up the 100 plus countries with our compliance engine through our payment processors. Here's the twist. We sort of keep this, we hide in plain sight with this, but this is a unique piece of IP for us. So what happens with the end users is they actually virtually sign, as you do with Microsoft or any other software, they sign a limited use software license with us. And when they load their wallet, they're actually purchasing a software license. We issue them tokens as a timer. When they run out of tokens, they have two choices: quit using the platform, right? Delete their account, or they can re-up their software use license and be issued new tokens. What they're actually utilizing those tokens for in the gamification process is they're increasing the timer should they win with more tokens on their software use license. We can dig really deep legally at a later time if you'd like to learn more about that, but it's a huge key differentiator. If you understand payment processing MCC codes, our merchant category code is not daily fantasy sports. It is not online gaming. It is digital goods, non-gaming. Really specific to the industry and what is called a chargeback. Again, I can go deeper into that later down the road. What do our financials look like? This is crazily low. We did this on purpose, but we're only using in the next slide, you'll see it. But for every 250,000 wallets, we're looking at a $6 million average revenue, annual recurring revenue on 250,000 wallets. You can see some of the estimations on the users international. This is really, really low. Like I said, our SAM it's large.
Mm.
All right, so what is this all based on? We did, like I said, our green grass golf fit, market fit. We used our solution, ate our own dog food, and we saw a $24 annual revenue per user in our silly little golf app that we used. We didn't have no marketing, by the way. 5,000 downloads. I could go through those numbers at a later time. But for our use cases and for our customers, we use this our ARPU as what we saw. However, that was based on green grass golf and players only playing about 4 times a year. When you add simulators and the velocity of short, tiny challenges instead of golf over 18 holes, this velocity increases like crazy. All I'm stating here is these numbers are very, very, very small. So they could be larger than this. All right, here's our team. Myself, I introduced you myself. Scott Keith is a school friend of mine. We've known each other for 30 years. He's a VP of brand experience, marketing, all of that. Donald Boating, I've known for 25 years, retired president of Visa. He is our payments guru. He was actually my first client back in '06 when he was with Wells Fargo. Nick O'Hearn met back in 2018. Retired PGA professional, the only guy to beat Tiger twice at the Accenture Match Play. You probably all know Nick. I meet with him every week. Fantastic. Scott Sadin. Scott Sadin is in the compliance industry for online wagering. There is nobody better. You can look up U.S. Integrity, the new name for his company. They've done a merger. Is called IC360. He sits on our board. Amazing. Brian Bennett is also on our advisory board. Brian is the ex-CEO of Betfred, the largest online sports book in the UK. Brian lives here in Southern California and does consulting. Huge spread, very deep team. We've probably got 20x exits between this team here in our experience. And yeah, we're cranking away. And so I know that was quick. Here's my contact information. But I will stop chatting at this point and then open it up for questions. And I know that was really speedy, everybody.
Yeah, Tom, no, I appreciate it. It's hard to get all that in 15 minutes, but you did a fantastic job from going over it. The one question I have, and I'm sure Jason, he's our resident tech and software guy as well, will have one. But so if I'm a general manager of a golf club in Naples, Florida, and I've got this group of guys and girls that, they're single digit handicaps, they play a betting game every Saturday. Are you saying that they can download the app and it'd be customized to the club itself?
The short answer to that is yes, but they're not going to download our app. Our golf app is used for testing and demo purposes only. We are a B2B company, right?
Okay.
So companies such as Golf Genius, Gallus Golf, Pacesetter, in the industry that actually have mobile platforms, are companies that we I can neither confirm nor deny that we're talking to. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, so uh, it's coming. However, I want to talk to every club owner, club management, folks that I can. I want to understand their software ecosystem, and we can talk about this and prep this. But let's talk about the end user case to answer your question. Yes, that private or semi-private mobile use experience, whether it's there today or will come later, will have our digital wallet in that. They can tip caddies, buy food and bev, enter tournaments. The credit book credits will go into their wallet to be able to spend those tokens on property.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Any other questions of the group? Sorry that was so fast, everyone.
That's fine. So Tom, a couple things. We're recording this for one because there's a lot of guys and girls that couldn't make it in specific time frames, so they're going to view this. The one of them that I know has an interest in looking closely at this is the PGA of America, Chris Hart, and their innovation fund. So
Yep.
your segment specifically, I'm going to send to him, and so don't be surprised if when we make an introduction because I think this is right up kind of their alley, long-term thinking.
Outstanding. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is Jason too, the uglier Jason, but more hair.
Hey, Jason.
But just no, I love that, man. It's awesome. I think I visualize what you're doing behind the scenes. I mean, you're powering the whole payments part of this whole thing, gamifying it. So you're not really necessarily the forward-facing app just all the time, but you're empowering this app with a way to monetize it. But so I have less questions, but more. I'm excited for you, man. But I'm gonna have some introductions for you later. Like I don't know if like I'm thinking like Top Golf. Do you have like you're in there playing? Is that another potential opportunity there, where you have those games you're playing and you're hitting the real ball, or is that totally different?
No, it is. Everybody asks about Top Golf. Love to speak with him, but they're not a high priority target for me. I would be honest with you at this point. Just with some internal stuff that's going on with them, very familiar with them and the internal workings. They just lost one of their key executives. But if you know somebody, happy to talk to them. But it's not a high target for me. I will tell you that.
Good to know. Good to know. Now, I was trying to visualize it like where you fit in. So they have an application where you can go there and play a game,
Yep.
but then there's no way to really monetize
Yeah,
or
I'll tell
bet
you
or
what we're
whatever.
trying to crack. I'm trying to talk to Puma, Callaway, TaylorMade. Not so much Titleist. We could talk to them, but those brands that I just talked to you, their mobile platform is amazing, and they're trying to trying to grow it. That is an absolute target of ours. I just haven't been able to crack that veil. I don't know anybody there.
Hey, Tom, Tim Rowe.
Hi,
I don't know
Tim.
if you have studied or talked to or thought about Eden Red Pay. They're a French company that bought out a payment solutions company. They're actually based out of Bonita. They use one-time credit card numbers for they're an accounts payable solution where the vendors agree to take a one-time, so they're not, they stop people from having to cut checks and I mean they're a multi-billion dollar company that is in a lot of industries. But I mean, when you're going, are your people that are using it coming off of credit cards, or are they are they pre-populating an account, or is it a debit situation? How does the money get into the system?
We have many on board. So we just signed in late 2024 agreements with Google Pay and Apple Pay. We are already Visa, MasterCard. We don't accept Discover or American Express, but it's something I could turn on very quickly. In the US, we have an ACH provider. We're just about literally next month, we're going to open up India, the UK, and UAE. One of our current customers is going to go live in Dubai here in November. So we're opening up international payments. When you open up international payments, the payout is a little more complex, and I'm interviewing payout solutions right now for those different countries and locales. ACH is not universal worldwide, so it takes multi-vendors. The nice thing about our solution is that we can have these different providers and just hang them onto our solution, and our users can select whoever they want to use.
So can you remind me once again where are you finding where are you making you're taking it's the use of the software that is where the revenue comes in. It's not although I saw transactional as well. But if you're if you're B2B,
multiple. Yeah, so our that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked it. So software as a service license agreements, right? Recurring revenue, maintenance, all that stuff, traditional, right? But with real money payments, it's the same business model as DraftKings and FanDuel. Worldwide, the regulators enable you to take up to 15% game admin fee from the winner of the contest. Right? So if they win $10 on the challenge, you can take $1.50 as a game admin fee. Industry standard. You can't take 16. Yeah, that takes a gambling license. So from 15 and down keeps you in the unregulated market. So what's interesting about that is we're seeing every token loaded into the system wagered 4 to 20 times a year. It just cycles. And so that bite of the apple, it just keeps growing. So at scale, I mean, FanDuel and DraftKings, they've got 550 million on account on any given day in their player bank, right? So then you've got ad tech and all the rest of those monetization strategies as well.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Highly profitable.
Thanks so much, Tom. We're at our time here. We really appreciate it. I know you got a flight to catch too.
I do.
Again, we got this recording, so everyone will get a copy. And then, as we said before, if anybody wants to meet with Tom specifically, sidebar, we'll set that up and have a conversation.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we're gonna jump right into Phil and Ben here. They're loading. Oh, Phil? They're zooming in from the UK, so it might take a minute to get fired up.
Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Phil's joining. We're very used to Teams. So clicking on Zoom. Haven't used Zoom since the pandemic.
I hear you. It every 2 months you have to do an update, and you never plan ahead of that. You know what I mean? So
Phil's probably updating, but he'll be
Hey,
here
Phil.
any second.
Phil's there
I
too.
can hear everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just need time. As I say, we're Teams guys and girls. So how do I just share? Am I when
Should
I'm
be a
ready
little
to share my
green,
screen? You
little
tell me.
green box at the bottom there.
That's it. I've got it. There you go.
And so while you're pulling that up, I'll do a little intro for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phil and Ben, I've met these guys about this time last year. They're from the UK, and they came up with a really cool technology product, which is like a digital screen for clubhouses where members can engage and communicate from the staff to the members. I thought it was really fascinating and looking to get it more into the US market. So we have a lot of club officials on this call, guys. So networks run deep. So I know that they were very, very excited to see what you guys are building and how you're, trying to get it over into the US. So I won't take any more of your stage here. I'll let you kind of jump right into it. So you guys know too, I'm recording this. There's a lot of folks that are kind of coming in and out. So we'll share that recording with them so they can, if they miss it, they can get it. And then I've suggested to everybody if they want to get together with you sidebar after this at a later date and dig a little bit deeper and sign NDAs and whatnot, they can certainly do so.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just sharing my screen now. Is that coming up your end, guys?
Don't see it yet. No. Oh, there it goes. Now it's starting.
There you go. There you go.
Takes a little bit to get over the Atlantic.
Yes, sorry about that, folks. Right, if I introduce myself very briefly, Phil Grice, I'm one of the founders. My partner Ben is on the call as well. And I've been a PGA member for 35 years, chairman of the GCMA in the UK and Europe, the Golf Club Managers Association. So I am a golf person. Ben is also too. Ben is prolific in the golf day field. He was the inventor of a live scoring app, and he delivers circa 200 golf days a year across the UK at this moment in time. So we are both golf people. Working in the golf world, we were looking around at lots of things that are happening. I was doing a relocation project, and Ben come to me with a tech idea. And what we've created, based on the fact that we were moving a golf course, so Royal Norwich moved. It was the first Royal club in the world, we believe, to actually physically move 7 miles up the road. One of the things that came out of that is we had a whole host of notice boards that members wanted us to take, and these notice boards had been there for hundreds of years. I mean, literally the 125 years it'd been there, they'd had notice boards. So we were determined in this brand new facility that ended up coming second in World Golf Development of the Year in 2019 to put lots of innovation in there. And between myself and Ben, we come up with a digital touchscreen notice board. So what you'll see in front of you is very simplistically in the clubs, it's a 55-inch touchscreen that is totally interactive. It's on probably version 3 or 4 because we've added stuff to it and grown it in its functionality. And to the point now where at the start of this year, we made it fully responsive. So whilst it's on a URL, you will send out the information to a member. They can access this screen from their mobiles, from their tablets, from their computers at home. So we call it's the single source of truth within a golf club. And the reason for it is very simplistically that if you send an email out, we all know that, maybe 40% will open it, 20% will pay attention, 60% of members won't actually have seen that information. And dare we even remotely send it out a second time, we'll get 30 emails coming back saying you've already sent this. So what we wanted to do was create something that actually was an umbrella over everything from your social channels to your more sort of how do you say it? The stricter emails that you maybe don't want to send out on socials that are a little bit more important. We wanted to create this central source of truth. So we come up with something, as you can see in front of you. It has 8 pages on it. It has 10 pages down the right-hand side. So everything from club news to course news to what's on, to Pro Shop. Now, any one of these are interchangeable. And if somebody had a yacht club, somebody had a tennis club, you can change any of the 10 right-hand buttons to whatever you want them to be. You'll see when you're on any given page, you can have up to 8 posts on it. And if you look at any one of these, everything you come across is to touch. So you pick the page you want, and then from there, you open up the post or the piece of information. Now, this screen that is set up today is purely and simply set up for your benefit and for a demo benefit for us to show the clubs. So it's not set up in the normal men's section, ladies section, the usual things that a lot of the traditional clubs use it for. As I said, it's responsive. It goes into the point where it streamlines everything that you're looking to do. You can see that should you have a GM's update or anything like that, you can drop videos and stuff like that into it very simplistically. So we get a lot of GMs will do an update. They'll just do it on a video. They'll drop it into there. Becomes so much more personal than writing out a long email that, again, as people think, I'll get back to that, but they never do. And the truth of it is once you've got this in the clubs that we see in, we deem the clubs in the UK to be in 3 categories. You have your lions, your meerkats, and your ostriches. The lions are the stronger, the commercial venues, the venues that are driven by commerciality or brilliant service. They want to be at the forefront. And we're currently about 106 venues in the UK at this moment in time. And the vast majority of them, we would deem them in the UK like Lion clubs. You then have a lot of Meerkat clubs underneath that, and they're clubs that are wanting to go from literally analog to digital. So they are looking at the importance of actually keeping in touch with their members, the importance of how to engage members, and the cost of inactivity. Understanding that you lose a member generally through the fact that your channels are fragmented, members become disengaged, and operational inefficiency starts to take over. So we look at this as the most progressive clubs out there have fallen in love with it. You find the smaller clubs, the clubs that maybe are not as tech savvy, are all around us, want to know about it. So we see it as a super duper product, where you can see on the left we have an interactive digital handicap calculator. So you'll pick the course that you're playing on. If you've got more than one course, you put your handicap in and it'll bring up the slope ratings for you. So just a very simplistic tool that we've built in there, that just allows the interaction of, generally for us, members use it quite a lot, but the visitors all use it. So instead of visitors going off somewhere and trying to find a slope chart or anything like that, also works for us as a great pitch. On the bottom left-hand side, you'll see we have a small carousel. That plays, there's 5 different posts you can put into there. So we've got it set up commercially at this moment in time. So some clubs who are commercial will put adverts on there and raise money from it. But what you'll get is the higher end member clubs who don't want to do that will just have things like Captain's Day, all sorts of events on there. But if you were, say, Tag Heuer or your BMW, and you want to advertise on there, any one of them 5 slots will play circa 42,000 times a month. So it's quite a powerful marketing tool if you've got clients that want to monetize the screen, because that is also somewhere where, as I said, probably a chunk of our clubs are reasonably commercial, so they look to cancel out the monthly subscription fee purely and simply by putting some advertisers on there. And some of them will have, any one of these pages might be a members benefit page, and they will go into the fact that they will sell member benefits on there, and they'll allow people to advertise. That advertiser, again, our clubs are getting sort of circa $300-400 per advertiser per month. We just got into Jumeirah Estates over in Dubai, and the numbers they're talking about to have people advertise on there from members and different people who've got businesses is stratospheric, and has led us to maybe realign our pricing strategy, because the money they're charging is quite incredible. But the point being is, it's not only a central hub in the club, but because it can be viewed online, or I say on mobile, on tablet and stuff like that, its impact just goes so much further and wider. And one other thing I just want to be able to show you. So as much as I'm conscious I've only got a limited window, so I am whistle stop and round it, we will give you a full deck on this, and we'll also give you a link to this site so that you can access this screen from anywhere and have a mooch round it. What happens as well, we have in the London Club, as many of you know, is one of the UK's most prominent clubs, just recently bid for a Ryder Cup coming up. This is their staff operations screen. So the screen doubles up as not only front of house for members, but actually you can put the platform in, because it's a naked platform. We help you populate it. You can see they have on there everything from staff news. I won't go into what they've got on a daily basis, because they have everything from VIPs in there and all sorts of booking details, and all sorts of staff meals and stuff. But you can see they cover off things like health and safety. They drop all of their policies in there, so that the staff have, again, one central point to go to. And any one of them given days that you would look at, you would see within there that they have everything from staff meals to who's duty manager. So again, from offsite, it provides one sort of single source of information. And just lastly, I'll just show you one. This is Potter's Resorts. They're one of the UK's top golf and hospitality resorts. They were recently voted #1 in Which magazine for the UK for their holiday destination business. And this is literally, I've shown you this because they've done it in their brand colors, much the same as the London Club have, but this is a very traditional version. So they want club news, course news, what's on. All of this is sitting on a Word platform, so it's really simplistic to operate back of house. Where we're at with it is we're looking for a distributor in America of some sort that we enter into a strategic partnership with. It's a straight subscription model, so the club would buy the hardware. We can supply the hardware, or we can find a distributor that can supply the hardware. And thereafter, it's a straight model of a revenue split that we would want to work with somebody. So I say it has many, many options from yacht clubs to boat clubs. Anyone that's got a membership database that wants to stay engaged and be modern, this works for them. And as I said, with the evidence of the London Club and one or two others, you'll see that people are now looking at it from an operational point of view, putting things up on a dusty old notice board. It's time consuming, it's outdated, and it's a single source of information. If you're not past, see it, where we're all aware of the average age. The average age in the UK of a golfer is 61. So that and above, these people are not always as open to opening lots of emails and that sort of information. So having somewhere within the venue that allows people to go and have a look at information, you'll see on all the pages there's a QR code built in. So if they wanted to download that information, they can. The fact that we've maybe gone past that a little bit with a view that it's it's responsive, so you can pick the URL up from anywhere if you're a member of the club, gives you that opportunity to see it from anywhere. Have I missed anything there, Ben, at all?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much a good whistle stop of the product. I think just the key thing is the way we market the product is that central comms hub for the venue, and with all the information that the membership visitors all need and require is all in one place. Just following on very quickly is what we've seen. We've done some testing recently where we've measured the traffic to the site compared to emails, where people can go into it and then naturally navigating to other things about the venue, other than just reading a single source email of we've got course maintenance this week. Suddenly they're into here, they're reading out more about why we're doing course maintenance, when we're doing it, the reason we do it, but then they navigate to other areas of comms about the venue. And we can see that, which is great, rather than just one single source of info and then moving on.
You can see here, this is just, yeah.
I have questions, Phil and Ben. Is this can this be integrated into a member app platform? So if I have a membership, I have an application, can it be integrated into that, or is it separate?
It's a separate platform, but obviously within development, I'm sure anything can be worked on because it produces a URL. It sits on a URL. So it could go
Okay.
into an app if that can be developed, no problem. So for example, with Jumeirah Golf Estates in Dubai, they all run off I think it's called the Via app, which is a Dubai-based thing, and they want to look at integrating this into that app, which is something they're going to look at further down the line. But because it's just sitting on a URL, that should be pretty straightforward to drop into any sort of member app.
So
Second
yeah, if I
question.
follow,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying
Go ahead.
and through the Pace Setter app have asked if they can upload it and put it in. So it literally, as Ben says, you just fix in the URL and it becomes part of what you do. So yes, it can, but in truth, we run it as a standalone URL so that it actually keeps it simplified. But I'm certain we could integrate it.
Second question was regarding the employee section. Would you be able to have the schedule of the employee there too? So if I'm an employee, I could go to there, I could see what my schedule is?
We don't have that capacity at this moment, purely and simply because it's still it's 10 pages of up to 8 pieces of information. What you could do if you wanted to put staff rotas on there, I have seen one or two people use everything from all the members' the winners' notice boards have dropped in there. I've seen ladies drop their yearly diaries in there, and I have seen people put snapshots of it, but it wouldn't be an individual app that they could go somewhere into their own rooms. The rooms you see, and we've deliberately kept it that simple, is the 10 pages you see on there, and then as it opens up, the 8 opportunities in each page.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you. Nicely done, Phil and Ben. I'm
Thank you.
curious, is there an option to provide any interaction in the any feedback mechanism that if I'm a member and I want to follow up or to engage somehow option?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I take you to a what's on here, so actually if I go back into ours because it's a little bit better populated. So if I go into the what's on and we open up an event, you'll see on the right hand side that on all the what's on stuff, it's a slightly different page build. So you've got info. So if you wanted to send an email to somebody or you want to put a booking space in there for, say, golf competitions or anything, you can drop it in the right hand side, or you can put the club phone number in if you're looking to book something. So yes, there is on one page, if you want to interact, you can, but not a back and forward sole interaction.
Got it. Got it. Good. Thank you.
You can drop a Google form into it, a simple Google form. So you could open if you wanted that, but if you think about it on the touch screen, it's quite a large product. So if you wanted someone to open a form, then they've got a big keypad, which is quite alien to people because it's a big screen. So you can do it via like a Google form type thing, but quite cumbersome on a big screen to do that. But mobile version it would work quite nicely.
Got it. Good. Thank you.
And
Hey
what you
guys,
can see on the image I'm showing you right now is there is a small version. So lots of clubs have said, look, can we pop something on the bar? Can we just have a separate screen for the men's and ladies so they can interact with it? What you'll see on the video at the moment is Harry, we call him Handsome Harry, and Handsome Harry is the guy that looks after all the tech for everybody. And I say that's one thing I haven't touched on is we do all the support. So when you sign your 3-year deal with us, apart from your monthly subscription, you don't pay anything else. We are there 24/7. We circle navigate the back of them until we know that you're pretty competent. And you'll see even there's a simple, the screens revert back to the first page after 60 seconds if people have not been on it a while and stuff. But yeah, as I say, the Store Market, this golf club that's here, they're also looking at another 5 or 6 of them that they want to dot around the club and maybe just put on tables, little tablets, just to offer a better service as well. So yeah, there is a lot we would normally take an hour to do this. So I'm sorry if I've rushed it and spun it as fast as I possibly could.
No, that was fantastic, Phil. I think we have one more question here from David Benjamin.
hey guys, I think we met last year, so good to see you guys again. Yeah, great
Hi,
presentation.
David.
Any progress or developments on, kind of on those event side, actually having a member being able to sign up for the event through like the club management software that we have? Because the way I see it is, a member sees the event on the screen and they want to sign up right away. So instead of leaving the screen and going, sending an email or walking to make the reservation, actually having them book the actual event reservation right there and then would be, I think, pretty strategic.
So well, we've tested it and we've seen it at the London Club with Golf Genius. We've seen that do it. So it opens up in the middle panel. You see I call it the white section in the middle. So if you opened a post, it would then open into Golf Genius. We've only tested it with that because that's the London Club that had that, and they could enter, they could book lessons and things as well. So yes, it does do that. Yeah.
Do you think
So with
you
that,
would expand
our nervousness around that is we know it does it, but we don't know it does it with every platform. Is the best way to put it. So it is something that I say Ben's knows it works now, and we've had that building, but because everybody's platform is fractionally different, we're going to have to do some testing there before we'd commit to and say 100% yes we can. But happy if you've got a platform to drop it into this, and let's see if it works if you want.
Understood. Yeah, I think there's probably about 4 or 5 different club management softwares that are at least prevalent in the US that would probably enjoy that kind of integration. But yeah, understood. Thank you.
The key thing, David, is that it's just got to be data protected. So someone doesn't just log in and then walk off.
Right.
Because
Right. There's definitely a lot to
suddenly
that,
their
for sure.
details are on the big screen, and the next person that comes along and says, "Oh, look, David's got $10 million in his club account. Oh, some of that."
Right. Right. For sure.
I just got one final question, guys, just for we have so many club officials on here. So you buy the hardware, which can you just talk about the television arrangement that you have? And then number two, is it the same subscription price whether you have two TVs or six?
So currently we're supported in the UK with Philips. We put a 55-inch 4K UHD TV in. We use them specifically, one, because they're incredibly reliable, the best in our field, and we get a 5-year warranty with them. So whilst people sign up for 5 years, they have a break clause at 3, so it gives them some comfort. Um, and we have a number of clubs and they've got more than one screen. So there is generally a small upcharge for having more than one screen, but in reality, that's something we're on this conversation. If we find a distributor or a partner to work with out there, there's a little bit of advice we want to take because we're very aware that our UK market is very different to the US market, and we've found that out. We've got a full-on franchisee in over in India, and I say what we're starting to do out in Dubai has opened our eyes because straight away across the resort. So it is something at this moment in time. There is always a small uplift for the extra screens, but it's something we're going to take a view on depending on the pricing of the model when it goes in.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you so much, guys. Are there any other questions out there from anybody? I think I've told everybody in the group, Ben and Phil, if they wanted to have a sidebar with you, I can make an email introduction. So for those listening in, if you want to meet the guys in person, let me know. We'll make those introductions.
Jason, I've got a slide reel that I'll send or a PDF I'll send you over. I've got a full scale one and a smaller one. On them is there's a link to the responsive site as well, and I'll give that to you as well. So anybody wants to go on this site and have a play about with it and have a look at it, this is our demo site, so they can access it from wherever they want.
Okay. Why don't you wait until after the Ryder Cup, though? Let's just see how that goes, and then.
Yeah, I think you guys will be all right this time. I think you guys will be all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It seems to work that way, doesn't it? That one of us has a win and then the other side sort of rallies and comes back. So, yeah, and we're expecting it to be pretty hostile as well.
Oh yeah, big time. All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Really
Thank
you for taking your time to listen. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, everyone. By design, we have about a 10-minute break there. So if you want to, again, jump up, grab some coffee or water or whatnot. And then we have Alan Mosher coming on at 1:25. So I'll do the same thing, give a little bit of intro on her product as we get closer.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay, everyone, we have a number of people just kind of joining us now. So thanks again for all of you who have stuck around this far and kind of going in and out. And hopefully you've heard some pretty innovative things that are going on in the private club space. As we kind of get halfway through the presenters, we're moving into some more tech products. Ellen, who's coming up very brief in a couple minutes, she's got something fascinating that I'll save to share with you in a couple minutes here. But for those of you who are just joining, what we're trying to do is kind of look through the lens of this as kind of early stage. Some of the companies are more far further along the line, like the D3 and the sports betting app and whatnot. And there's others like Ellen, who's coming up, who's just really starting in the beginning phases of her idea. So look through it through the kind of lens as a angel investor or a consultant for an early stage entrepreneur with an idea. And again, ask questions, provide any feedback, and if someone catches your eye, definitely let me know, and we'll set up a separate meeting, and you can dig a little deeper underneath the hood and talk about their business plan and model. But the whole premise for today was to really get them to go through the exercise of presenting their product in about 15 minutes. And that's, as all of you know, that can be a little bit difficult. So it's a good exercise to go through as they go down this path to raising capital and doing angel investments and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is, since we're running a little bit ahead of time, which is good, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Ellen now, and so she can get set up. Stand by.
Jason?
Yes, Ellen, I can hear you. I can see it too.
Okay, great.
Welcome.
So shall I share my screen?
Yeah, yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll kind of preface everybody with how I know you and whatnot. So, as Ellen gets set up here, I'm fascinated with her business idea because, as you've seen over the last couple hours, a lot of tech products and AI and whatnot. But when she called and told me about this idea that she had of keeping pace of play, frankly, with battery operated, almost like a watch of some sort. I was really fascinating about it because there's nothing really crazy software that was needed or tech. And yeah, I think about these public golf facilities out there that really don't have the budget for the big GPS systems and all this and that. And I think that what she has is really cool. And I can't wait to see her presentation and for you all to see what she thought of just a couple of short years back. So, Ellen, the stage is yours.
Okay, great. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Share.
And Ellen, remind me where you're from.
Alexandria, Virginia.
Virginia, that's right.
Okay, let's see. Slideshow. Here we go. Okay, Pace of Play LLC. Let me just can you all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Pace of Play LLC. Problem statement. Slow play has plagued golf courses for decades, frustrating players and operators alike. Despite efforts to address it, the issue persists, leading to longer rounds, reduced enjoyment, and revenue losses for course facilities. Root cause. Golf is a time sport without a time clock. There is currently no standardized visible timekeeping system on golf courses to guide players in maintaining the appropriate pace of play. Without a dedicated golf clock, players lack real-time feedback on how their pace compares to expected benchmarks, resulting in unintentional delays and inconsistent round durations. Impact on golfers, extended round times. When average round durations stretch beyond optimal limits, often exceeding 5 hours, it's difficult for players to plan their schedules with unknown completion time. Player frustration. Slow play diminishes the experience for all golfers, especially for those who value efficiency. It can lead to the reduced likelihood of return visits, or it can lead to no-shows. Reduced throughout. Due to slow play, there are fewer rounds per day, month, or year, limiting course capacity. For example, when 8-minute tee times become 10-minute tee times due to slow play, it results in the loss of 1 tee time every 40 minutes. Revenue loss. Fewer rounds translates to lower income from green fees, cart rentals, pro shop purchases, driving range and practice range facility usage, and food and beverage sales. Solution, pace of play. Here are the features. Attaches to a motorized cart, push cart, and golf bags. Customized for each course. Ready to use out of the box. Easy to use and understand. Battery operated, includes a 5-year battery. It's easy to use. All you do is at the tee time, press the start button and tee off. Attach the device to the golf bag, push cart, or motorized cart, and then keep pace with the minute hand as it moves around the face of the device. That's it. The design. I designed it to be mass-produced and then customized for each course after manufacturing. It's patented. Golfer benefits. Improved pace of play across all skill levels. Enhanced player experience and satisfaction. Consistent round durations. Real-time feedback on expected hole completion times helps players stay on track without pressure or confrontation. Enables players to self-regulate their pace. Boosts compliance, not added enforcement. Benefits of the golf course facility. Improve pace of play for all methods of getting around the course by attaching to the motorized carts, push carts, or golf bags for walkers. Increased tee time availability and scheduling efficiency. Increased number of rounds per day, month, or year. Increased rounds results in higher revenue potential for green fees, cart rentals, pro shop purchases, driving range and practice range facility usage, and food and beverage sales. Total addressable market. The total market size in the United States is over 15,000 courses. A majority of the courses have a slow play problem. The target customers are golf courses with a slow play problem. By year 3, I may capture 1,500 clubs. By year 3, I may capture a total revenue of $15 million. Please note that these devices will be sold, not leased to golf courses. Thank you.
And Alan, quick question for you. Talk about the cost in how much one of these would cost a golf course or a bundle package.
Okay, what I found, I initially wanted it to be a bundle because I thought that's what the golf courses would need. However, what I found out is the golf courses, quite a few of them already have some sort of timing device on their golf carts already. And these, of course, are leased products, not purchased products. And since they already have these on their carts, what they need right now are devices for the people who are walking. They're finding that, of course, the golf course knows that every tee time needs a device. And right now it's those that are walking that are slowing down the golf courses. And so the people who already have the devices on the carts need these for the walkers. And then they wanted these devices when their leases ended on the carts. I decided that maybe I should just sell them as the number of units people need. Some people I spoke to, they have 40 carts in their fleets. Another has 80 carts in their fleet. So it's all over the place. Another group, or several groups, they have tournaments all over the country, and they just wanted to buy a bunch of these, put their company name on them, and take them to their shotgun start events that they have all over the country. Some of them run like 600 and 800 events annually. And so their pace of play is a big problem, with those events where they need to be off this course that they've been allowed to be on. And so they need to be off at a particular time. This would help them get off at a particular time. So right now, this number is based on 40 units per course in a package. And that would cover maybe a fleet of however many, and then enough for walkers. And so, and if they just wanted like 15 units to cover them for the walkers, that's a lot of courses out there that need them just for those that are walking. So the estimate that I gave you is, I think, a little low, but I thought that that would be a nice start.
Right. And can you talk a little bit about the customization from one course to the next? The third hole might be a par 5, which
Yeah.
obviously would take longer than a par
Mhm.
3.
Yes. Well, I have a prototype here. Can you see this?
Mhm.
It comes with a blank face. And so the way I customize it is the course lets me know how many minutes per hole. And then I create a face for it based on the number of minutes per hole for that course. And so then the company name would be on there. It would be customized for the course, and it's just shipped off, and everybody can, it comes out of the box and it's ready to use.
Very cool. A question from one of the panelists, from Kurt with KKW. He said, what is the protection for someone not taking them home either on purpose or simply forgetting them on their bag? Is that just the club's responsibility, or?
Well, what I've done with that is that on each one appears a number, like an inventory number. And so if I send them, 15 or so, I'll number them 1 through 15, and they'll have some sort of number on the front. And then at the starter can just write down what number of the device that each person has. And so then, of course, any golf course can put an inventory number on the back of the device as well. But I thought on the front, it's a little easier to spot. And so they can note the golfers and which one they have, and then they can just track them down. And if the courses wanted to say that there's an X number of dollar deposit if you don't return it, they can do that. But they can come up with some sort of system, I thought.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I'm assuming waterproof.
Waterproof, drop proof.
Yeah.
3-meter drop proof.
Yeah. David, you have a question?
Yes. So nice product. Just kind of looking to hear a little bit more of like the and then, right? So it sounds like it's kind of self, monitored from the players.
Yes.
How can the golf shop kind of get involved if there is a slow group, and or is there any reporting that can be pulled from these devices? Let's say at the end of the round to say, hey, the 40 groups had them. 10 groups were slow on this hole. These other 10 groups were slow on that hole, just to kind of get some more reporting and some actionable items, from
Yeah.
something like this.
Well, basically, every course sets the time limit for the course, and they also set their pace of play rules. And so I thought each course would basically incorporate the pace of play rules. When I was doing all my research and going around to different golf courses, the pro shop staff stated that the whatever devices that they're using on the carts just aren't clear enough for golfers to understand where they are on the course, pace wise. And so when I showed them mine, they said that's so easy. I can just point to it. And, if they're on hole 4 and it says that you should be on hole 5, it's a clear indicator that they are slow and they're behind. So the golf course could present, first off, here we're on our pace of play system. You might be given one warning, but you could say one warning, and then the second you're being pulled off. But that could be posted right there at the in the pro shop or right at the first tee or so. So they know what the rules are before they start. They know what they are now, but there's no indicator to let the golfers and the golf staff know, yeah, well, it's, you might be, if this might be whatever it. I'm finding that golfers are having a hard time keeping their pace of play based on whatever devices are on the golf carts. And so does that answer your question, that the courses could just implement rules right there at the beginning, And
Yeah, I think so. I'm also kind of interested if there's any real time. I know that, like you said, they're maintenance light, which
yeah.
is a good thing in some regards. But I'm thinking of more, quicker real time, so that that there are some oversights, and then also from the post round, we could get
Yeah.
reports of this hole is playing slow. Why was it playing slow? Was there a slow group, or is this hole just need to be long term tweaked? Maybe we need to take out a bunker here or a bunker there. So I'm thinking more short and long term results from something like this.
Right. And also, like I was also, thinking at the beginning, if let's say if I'm on hole 5 or 6 and I see the group in front of me, they're slow, you could just call the pro shop and say, hey, listen, 6 needs to speed up or go. And I think that once a course has a rhythm and people are on, keeping pace of play, then it'll start to work normally. But what I found is a lot of golfers aren't intentionally being slow. They lose track of time. And it's not that they're just being a jerk or anything. They're just sitting there trying to, focus on their stroke or whatever. But having this on a golf bag, a golf cart, just handy. So every time you pull a club or every time you get into the cart, you know exactly where you are. And so it's like a speedometer. It keeps you on track, and you can adjust immediately versus letting it get to the point where you're behind.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Alan, are you comfortable sharing, how much it costs to design just one, and then what you're selling for in terms of margins?
Well, it is not yet, only because all of that is not hard costs. It's still in development, meaning so not yet.
That's fine.
But the price, I've priced it a little high, and so there is wiggle room.
Gotcha. Would these be developed overseas, or do you develop them here in the US?
The manufacturer that I've contacted is overseas.
Okay.
Overseas.
Okay. Gotcha. Is there any other questions from the group for Ellen? And just out of my curiosity, how did you discover this? Did you say you worked in the club industry for a while and it was an issue?
No. I belong to a private club, and some coworkers
That's what I
belong
wanted.
to other private clubs. So we ended up at a public golf course because there's a limit on the number of local guests you can have during the week play golf. So I ended up on the public golf course, and I don't have a low handicap or anything. However, a coworker had a single digit handicap, and I knew that I was frustrated by it, but I just figured it, I'm just not a good golfer. But I saw him reacting to it, and it was just incredible how good golfers and not so good golfers react the same way to the slow play. And so I don't even think I've ever finished 18 holes on a public golf course. We have walked off so many different times. It's a bad game. All of a sudden you're not having a nice time. And then you find yourself going back out there again. And it's like, yeah, just you think a different course might do it. No, it's not. So I actually had enough time out there waiting to sketch out an idea.
Yeah.
So that's where it was.
It's a very interesting idea because golf is a game of self-policing. We call penalties on ourselves, which is very rare. So to have this device in hand and know that it's your duty to keep up with it, it is really interesting. And I
Yeah.
could see where the golf course would say, hey, if you get in here before that red arrow gets to the 12th hour, free beer on us or a free hot dog, whatever it is. And just to keep that pace of play, I think that's very easy to do.
Well, and most golfers I don't think, go to the golf course to spend the day. They want to get there, play, and get off and have other things to do. So I really think that it is just, they're just not aware of playing slowly.
Right.
And just like they're just not aware of playing slowly.
Yeah.
And so, even when speaking with the golf staff, the other devices that are out there that do other things that are sitting on the golf carts, they said that, trying to charge them regularly or update the software or just all these little issues that pop up. And if there happens to be a thunderstorm and the electricity blinks and these devices aren't charged the next morning, they just said that there are just so many little issues with them. And just the idea of just something battery operated and very, very simple was really interesting to a lot of people.
Right. Are you going to be showcasing at the PGA show? Have you thought about that or no?
Well, I was at the show in January,
Right.
and the feedback was wonderful, and the variety of people that came up to me and actually beeline to me. I didn't think anybody would find me where I was located,
Yeah.
and but I saw them coming down the aisle and beelined right to me, and it was really great. Like I said, those that have shotgun tournaments throughout the country, big problem. Others like groups from Canada came up to me. They said, we have a slow player. Our summer hours are very long, and if we have one slow player, it ruins revenue for the whole day. And then others, people who run other PGA tournaments came up to me, junior tournaments. Right now on the tee cards for the junior tournaments, they write what time they should be teeing off from each hole. And the person that runs the junior tournament said this would be so nice. It takes us so much time writing down what time everybody should be teeing off from the next hole on the cards.
Very good. Yeah, I think, in comparisons, like it's just expensive to go bowling as it is to go play at some public golf courses. And when you bowl, it's a time frame. You either buy 1 hour or 2 hours. And in golf, it really should be no different. It's a time when you have to be off, and whether that means you're on the 16th hole or not. But yeah, fascinating stuff. And if anybody would like to connect with Ellen Sidebar and learn a little bit more, and I'm sure she can send over an NDA. You can sign off on it, and see, ask questions and whatnot. Should be happy to do so. Okay. Is there any other final questions? Doesn't look like it, Ellen. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
Yep, and we will be in touch soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you very much. That was Ellen. I'm going to admit Chris Hart here with the PGA of America, and then we should have Nick jumping in the queue here pretty soon, and I'll share a little bit about his product and what he's been working on the last several years as well. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
Good to see you. Good, sir. Good, sir. We're just taking a little couple-minute break. We just finished up with one, and then so as we said earlier, if anyone wants to get up and check an email or two, feel free to do so now, and then we'll jump back on here in 2 minutes.
All right, I'll go run to the bathroom quick while I got time. Sorry for just joining. I had to bunch this morning, so I should be good for the rest of the time though.
Yep, no, not a problem. And this is being recorded too, Chris. So because there's
Oh, cool.
a couple of that I wanted you to see specifically that are looking pretty sizable investments. So that way you can go back and watch and then connect if you'd like.
Cool. Sounds good.
All
right, come back in a minute.
Okay, folks. So Nick's logging in right now. Should be on in just a minute, but just to preface the next, well, really five presenters, heavy in tech. So this gets really interesting as we close out the day with Dean from the CMAA, and he's a general manager with a really cool product that he's got going at his club that he's been working on the side, and another young man out of Boston who created an app-based platform that connects people who are golfers to different events and league play and whatnot. So a lot of AI involved in these next few, so which is really cool. And Nick's gonna share some as well. So I'm gonna let him in right now. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Jason.
We can hear you good, so that's good. Everyone, this is Nick Ellis from Naples, Florida, PGA member. Know Nick a long time. I'll just share a little bit of background, Nick, then you can jump right into your presentation. So,
Sure.
really, the definition in my book of an entrepreneur. So, Nick had this idea right around COVID, kind of bounced it off me. I thought it was really cool, the ability to help folks learn the game of golf, maybe on their own time or just with using app-based technology. Invented a really cool algorithm. Well, then AI jumped in. So he kept going forward, took the algorithm that he had, invented the AI piece to it now, and his final product here is just really cool and someone that's bootstrapped the whole thing from day one. So really excited for him to kind of show you better golf and what he's invented. And Nick, as I told everybody, go through your presentation and do some Q&A, but if there's any sidebar meetings that will take place, they'll go reach out to me and then we'll make the introductions and you can obviously take it from there. So the stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy work schedules to listen to what we've been working on. I am going to share my screen here, and I'm going to jump into my pitch deck. So can everybody see this right now on the screen? Okay, cool. So, all right. So as you can see, Golf App Partners is our company. Better Golf is our flagship product. And we are, quick mission, vision statements. Our mission is to empower golfers with a habit-forming AI-powered training platform built by PGA professionals that drives smarter practice and lasting improvement. Our vision is to redefine our golf instruction by making personalized, data-driven coaching accessible to every golfer, creating a future where improvement is measurable, sustainable, and most of all, it's enjoyable. Our team, so as you can see, myself on the left, CEO, co-founder. I've been a PGA member for 7 years, working in the golf industry for over 10 years, have expertise in leadership as a head professional, as well as a high passion in coaching and teaching. My co-founder and CTO, Mr. Tom Meja, is a rare full stack developer. So he understands both the back end and the front end. This is not his first rodeo. He has delivered applications for other businesses as well that have involved forensic tools, worked for legal departments, and he's served over 30,000 users at times. So he understands how to scale and grow an application to make it work for thousands of people on it. So what's the problem that we're trying to solve? So really, as a PGA professional and someone who is passionate about coaching, I'm just going to kind of lay it on you here. The problem is that there's so much information out there that people have a hard time knowing what piece of information, what golf tip specifically works for them. So this is great if you're looking for entertainment and you want to sound wise on the first tee with your buddies on a Saturday or Sunday morning. But overall, a lot of the information that's flooded the internet right now, specifically social media, is not necessarily personalized. It's what we call a one-size-fits-all instruction. And so why now we are entering this market is, and even though we understand that it's crowded, but we're harnessing AI and we're building it hand in hand with PGA professionals who are the true lifeblood of the game. And we're focusing on our strong branding, our growing online presence, and really by leveraging our natural networks as PGA pros. So as you can see my quote at the bottom here, this gap between generic instruction, aka one size fits all, and personalized coaching is exactly where our solution begins. So for the sake of time, we can come back to the slide later if you have any questions, but overall, solving the overall problem, as you can see from the top, generic tips of golf flood the market. And the solution is to have AI-powered swing analysis that delivers personalized feedback unique to each golfer that's using the app. I'm going to move on to the next slide here just to continue to keep this presentation going, because I do have a demonstration that I want to show you right now. So here is the full version of the application. So let me get a sip of water here. So a new golfer who has just onboarded is going to be brought to this page. And as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner here, this is the dashboard. There's no new golf data that's been uploaded yet. We're going to primarily focus on the dashboard today, and we're going to focus on, to the right of that, the golf studio. The library and the Me tab are pretty self-explanatory. The library has a list of drills that you can work on in between your swing analysis. So I'm going to start the demonstration video here and give you an idea of exactly how everything is going. So now this is the first, when you first showed up, you saw the dashboard, there was nothing there. Now I've moved over to the golf studio, and it's asking me to record my first swing and get into the AI analysis. So once you press record your first swing or the red button on the bottom that said AI analysis, you have two options. You can upload it from your gallery if you already have an existing swing, or you can record live in your actual training environment. In this case, we're going to select it from a gallery. So here's the swing that I selected. As you can see, it takes about 3 seconds to compress. And on the bottom, you'll see a playhead button on the left side. If you want to review the swing, see how it looks after it's been compressed and uploaded into the app, you have that option. If you want to change out the video, you press the playhead button around the box with the double box border on the left side of it. Or if you want to jump in and analyze, you go ahead and analyze the video. And that's what we're going to do right now. As you can see, it says it takes 2 to 5 minutes. I've sped up this process just for the sake of demonstration. Typically, though, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds. We also have some fun kind of golf tips at the bottom to keep users engaged while it's working. So now the analysis has been completed, and now we are at our overall assessment page. I got an 84, ranked pretty good. You know what? I'm okay with that. Golf is hard, so I'm going to look at my overall assessment, and as you can see here, just below that, it gives me a brief description of what's actually happening in my swing. And then, as you roll your eyes a little bit lower, you will see there is a video. And I'm going to click on the video playhead here. And what's going to happen is I can actually see how the AI is measuring my swing in real time after the upload. It's not too bad. So now you can see our key metrics overview. So here's the 3 things that I want you to notice. And we're going to go through these kind of quickly, but there's a lot of in-depth information within these 3 tabs. The first one is stability. So as you see, the AI stability analysis gives you a brief explanation of why you scored that way. And if you may have missed it, I'm going to, on the right-hand side, there's a red icon that you can look at. If you press that red icon, it'll give you a more in-depth explanation of what the AI is analyzing. So in this sense here, it's looking for and analyzing your stability index, your lateral sway, and your vertical bounce. So I'll let this play through. And you can see here, now we've moved over to biomechanics. So it's looking at your head movement, your body balance. And again, if I can direct your eyes to the bottom right hand of the screen, that's the red eye. That icon, by tapping that, will give you your full in-depth explanation of what the LLM is actually reading and looking for and understanding. And then lastly, we're going to go into the movement analysis, which was the tab on the right. And here, this is the LLM saying, look, we recognize your shoulder angle, your hip angle, your knee angle, your elbow angle, your shoulder level consistency, your hip level consistency. And here are your numbers associated with that. Now, let me focus your attention on the very middle of the screen where it says primary focus areas. These are the areas that the AI has determined that need work. So I need to improve my overall stability, optimize my shoulder coordination, and I need to maintain my head stability. Well, how do I do that? Okay, let's move down the page and look at the priority training drills. So as we slide down here, you're going to see a written explanation and then a quick video of some training drills that you can work on in between each swing analysis. So for those of you that are visual learners, you can see the video. Those of you that like to read, you have the written explanation. Now, I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the page, and I'm just going to press pause here for a second before we get into the next feature, the last feature, the most exciting one, in my opinion. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a kind of a very light green circle. And this circle is our AI assistant. Name pending, we call her Miss Golfy, just between my partner and I. But what her role is to deliver this analysis in a human-friendly, coach, fun format. And so I am going to let her explain.
Hey there. Let's take a look at your swing and see how we can make it even better. Overall, you've got a good swing going, but we can definitely dial in a few things to help you gain more consistency and power. It's all about refining those movements. Your head stability is pretty solid, which is awesome. A steady head helps you make consistent contact with the ball. Also, your shoulder and hip turn ranges show good separation, which is key for generating power. Your stability index could use a little boost. We want to make sure you're feeling grounded and balanced throughout your swing.
So she goes on for about another 20 to 30 seconds, covering everything that I had just showed you, but in a fun coach sort of feel format. Now, as you can see, I'm going to end the demonstration by bringing us back to the page that we started at, which is the dashboard. So before it said there was no golfer data entry, right? Now we actually have one swing that's been uploaded. So as you can see, here's my latest performance score is an 84. And below that is my performance analytics. And so this is going to be a line graph that's going to chart how each analysis comes along. And hopefully you will be moving correctly in a progressive way. And at the end of this, at the very bottom of this page, so when a user logs in, this is what they're going to see right off the bat. So they open up the app, this is what they see. And they're going to have a couple call to actions. They're going to be able to analyze their swing right away, or they're going to be able to look at some of these suggested drills at the bottom here if they want to practice from a previous analysis. So I am going to minimize this page here, and I'm going to continue the presentation back on my screen. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the market opportunity for what we're trying to chase here. So as you see at the top, we have our TAM. In the second circle, we have our SAM, our serviceable addressable market. And in the third circle, we have our serviceable obtainable market, which is really what we're going to be focusing on early on to find our niche, to find our beachhead. And we project, we're confident enough, we project that if we can capture 1 to 3% of our SOM, the 12 million US core golfers, those are the golfers that play 8 or more times in a calendar year, that we can be very successful in obtaining our business plan. And so we can really establish an early foothold within the market. So as you see at the bottom here of the page, 1%, 2%, 3%, those equate to how many subscribers we would have based upon that 12 million. How are we going to get there though, right? How are we going to distribute this? Outside of our PGA network and our current student bodies, and partnering with other PGA professionals, we need to build the root of the tree is to build an online presence. And that starts with content creation, social media growth, influencing with partners, partnering with influencers, and starting with small and growing to big. And then after 6 to 12 months, really looking back and making strategic decisions on how we're going to expand. We're going to expand in our B2C, expand in our B2B with instructors and institutions, and then also develop and leverage any corporate partnerships that we have. How are we going to make money? Great question. Our monetization models. So as you see in year one, we have the main focus is on B2C subscriptions. Year two, we shift to B2B and get institutional subscriptions.
Hey
In
there.
year three,
Let's take a look at your swing and
at,
see how we can make it even better.
I'm sorry.
Overall.
And in year three, Dolphy wanted to say hi. And in year three, we focus on our partnership and leveraging our entire database by data licensing. Now, I just want to finish with one last slide here. And I want to just leave you all with a little bit of kind of a fun analogy and a way for you all to look at my partner and I, as we move forward. So here's just a quick little story and a fun little anecdote for you all. So story of David and Goliath is not about an underdog. It's about how the right skills, tools, and the perspective can turn the odds in your favor. As a PGA expert, I bring over a decade of professional instruction, coaching, customer service, leadership in golf. I will ensure that our product is built on real world player needs because that's who we deal with every single day. Tom May is a technical master. He has engineered secure, scalable applications used by 30,000 plus users that's been trusted by law enforcement agencies, bringing unmatched technical depth to our platform. And together we have a unified vision. We're leveraging AI and a habit-forming design to create a smarter and more personal way for golfers to improve. So, like David, our strength isn't about our size and how big we are. It's about our precision, our agility, our skill, and our passion. And with this team, we're positioned to redefine the future of golf training. So thank you all for your time. This last slide has my email for any business inquiries and Tom May's email for any technical inquiries. Thank you so much for your time today.
Bravo, Nick. That was well done. Well done.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep. I know there's probably gonna be some questions, but I got one right out of the gate for you. Are you established in the App Store?
In the App Store?
Yeah.
No, not yet. We're still, that demonstration that you just saw right there was all done through test flight. So that's Apple's beta kind of pool that we use to test everything without having to go through the in-app payment process.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay. Questions out there from anybody? Hey, Spencer. Spencer's got one.
Hey, Nick, congrats, man, on getting as far as you have. I know we've chatted via email or LinkedIn, I guess. Yeah, man. Yeah, nice presentation for sure. I get the B2B side. Curious when you say going to coaches, because as you know, no one else really knows, but as you know, that's a lot of my background. So what benefit do you think the coaches are going to have when they buy in as a potential customer of yours?
Well, there's a couple different paths that we want to go through. Now, as we all know, some of us may know that our really direct line to the coaches is going to be those assistant professionals to early head professionals that have a student body, but who are still working their way up. And we're looking at some sort of revenue sharing process to be able to get them some extra dollars while they onboard their students into our platform. And so if we can partner with them as independent contractors who can be rewarded for bringing their students onto our platform, then it becomes a win-win.
Are they going to be using the platform to deliver their coaching? Or I guess, because in my experience, coaches moving their athletes to a particular platform is a massive lift and a massive credibility risk. And especially because they don't want to refer them to something else.
Sure.
So if they're not going to use the tool to actively coach them and they're more of a reseller, then that's a very different kind of model. And they're not really their coach anymore. They're just a reseller. So just kind of curious to learn more about that. And we can offline this too. I don't want to totally take up all the time.
No. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I've thought about exactly what you're saying. And we've talked about that exact risk awareness on that. So another sort of path that we had talked about as a partnership is also to encourage PGA instructors to be content creators for us, because this would be able to allow them to upload their information, or I'm sorry, their content into our application, and then be rewarded based upon how successful that content is. And if they're able to have high engagement with the content that they're putting in the application, then it becomes a sharing process on how valuable the information or the content that they're presenting to the current student body or the customer base of Better Golf. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get where you're headed. Yeah, and I think what I'm ultimately hearing is that the true customer is still the golfer and always will be the golfer. You're just looking for ways to hack distribution and incentivize others to share the message. So it's not necessarily a tool for those coaches. It's more of you're trying to find ways to get more distribution. So totally get that part. So I'll kind of pause right there. Yeah, appreciate it, Nick. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you, Spencer. It's nice to talk to you in live.
Same, man. Same.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think that's really, love it. Great thinking, great use of AI. I mean, I really like it. I was just going to point out a couple things that I've learned from a lot of the failures that I've had as an entrepreneur over the years. And one thing is marketing dollars. So I think that it's slick, it's cool, and those vibes are maybe, for me, what are most interesting. Because I could get 73,000 different things to teach me how to play golf, but this is really cool. It's fun. The girl's voice, you should absolutely name her. I mean, it's about the slick. But I'm wondering if you've done your forward-looking projections, and if you have put, I hope that you're thinking, however much you think it's going to take to market to capture those people, I would multiply it times 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 1,000,000. Because it just takes massive amounts of money to capture an audience and a new product. And I don't know if you performed that out yet and what your thoughts are in terms of what channels you're going to go to. And I appreciate the hope that your fellow PGA guys are going to get it done. But I'm not a PGA person, but did work with Jason at Golf Life. And the PGA is infamous for perhaps not moving as quickly to support fellow entrepreneurs, but I just wanted to point that out. But I love it. It's cool as hell. I love it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I appreciate you explaining your past experiences and kind of what you've learned. And I can tell you that we do have in the pro formas that we have going forward for the first 3 years, we do have a very significant amount to our marketing budget. If you want to talk about that, kind of as a sidebar, I'd be happy to, let you look under the hood a little bit and give you the full, what we expect as our LTV to CAC ratio and some comps on exactly some other businesses out there that have similar models that we're trying to follow. So yeah, but believe me, it's I'm a conservative person in nature, and but I think we have a plan, like I said, that's kind of under the hood right now, where we're making some calculated risks. But overall, I feel very confident with our complete differentiation that we've kind of explained today, and what our team provides.
Is there any chance you could use AI to actually walk you through it? Hey, you're on the first slide. Now let's get a picture of that swing. Cool. Hey, nice job. Now just click the button below and upload it. Let's take a look at it. I don't know.
Anything. This is what my partner has told me, is that anything you can think of, he can do. So the short answer for you is yes, and we'll map it out, and we can be very creative and come up with creative solutions or more efficient solutions in that sense to present or to get our point across.
Hey Nick, I was just going to ask you a quick question. Like, how are you training your models on this to actually give good advice? Because I think your goal is to not give bad advice. And and secondly, how do you on the PGA venture side, I see a lot of different companies. I've probably seen about 6 similar pitches. So just how are you going to differentiate yourself with AI coaching in the marketplace? Because I feel like this is going to be a pretty common trend coming out.
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, so to answer your first question about training the LLM, so really to bring you back to the beginning, I mean, if you're familiar with how the LLMs work, it's we got to teach it what a golf club is, what a golf head is, how the correct setup position is, what the top of the backswing is, what the impact position is, what the follow through is, and then from there, you were just throwing as many swings at it as possible from all different levels of golfers. I mean, I'm talking people who have picked up a club 5 times in their life before to people who are trying to make it on the Corn Ferry Tour. And that way it sees both ends of the spectrum and can really pick out exactly, what is correct and what isn't. And don't get me wrong, I'll be totally transparent. There's still a little bit of inconsistencies with it. The model is barely 2 months alive. But we've been just banging this thing over and over with golf swings, from my students to friends, family, to internet swings that we've picked up online, to databases that we're throwing into it all. And so that's how it's learning, and that's how it's being able to recognize different aspects of the golf swing and different technical points. But the beauty is with AI, I mean, it's like us, it's like a human. I mean, in a scary sense, it's going to continue to learn what you throw at it. And so just making sure, our biggest challenge is just to keep the guardrails on it, to make sure that it's understanding and learning what we want it to learn, and directing its intelligence towards being efficient in a golf swing. The second part of your swing, so our difference really, well, I'm going to say right now, I'm gonna give you the last feature that we had with Miss Golfy, that I'll call her, our AI assistant. And so we plan to leverage this. This is another layer of AI just on top of measuring your golf swing. I mean, a lot of the feedback that I've gotten from doing like outreach and surveys and just boots on the ground research is that people are hesitant or a little apprehensive to use an app because they lose that human touch, they lose that connection. And so with our AI assistant, I really believe that we can kind of close the gap on allowing somebody to hear another voice and to tell them exactly what's going on at first, and then eventually graduate that into a totally interactive feature. And so in the future, we want to be able to have an interactive conversation like you would with your coach. If you're texting your coach in the morning or at night, or you're talking to ChatGPT or Gemini, it's going to be an interactive assistant that you will be able to ask questions to. They will know your personality, they will know your golf swing, they will know your capabilities, and they will know your tendencies.
Very good. Well, Nick, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
I'll just finish up. Nick was smart enough several years ago to reach out to me, Dr. Jim Butler with Club Benchmarking, because to Tim's point about marketing and whatnot, you can't just throw a lot against the wall, see what would stick. So he surveyed our database of core golfers to find out, why they take lessons, why they don't take lessons. Dr. Butler helped us design those questions and examine the data. And we had thousands of responses. So his whole marketing approach in his business plan is kind of centered around the data of what that future golf, student is saying. And I think that helps in the effort for marketing in terms of motivation. So, well, Tim, Nick, thanks so much, man. We got Dean in the queue. And
thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Yep. And I'll be in touch with anybody who wants to chat more with you.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Okay, we're having Dean jump in here. And so a little bit, well, I'll wait till he comes on. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Thank you for jumping in, and apologize a little bit of delay here, but you're probably our 7th presenter today already so far. So,
wow.
But this one I'm super excited about because you're the first CMAA member and general manager to have an idea or a product that I believe has a lot of legs to it. And so we have a lot of club industry folks on here, Dean. The guys with the KKW and a number of other ones have been in the industry such a long time that I'm sure will have questions with your product. So super
Sure.
excited to hear more. And with that said, I'll let you take the stage.
Great. Well, thanks, Jason, and thanks to everybody that's on the call here for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. I'm obviously really excited about this project that I'm working on and the potential there, and just the opportunity to present it to you and get some feedback with all the experience and success that's on this panel today. I'm really appreciative of it. So thanks again. And let's talk a little bit about Thrive. Let me share my screen here. All right, so assume we're good there on the
Looks
share.
good. Yep.
All right, thanks. Okay, so let's start off with a scenario. Those of you that have been in the club business have probably seen this scenario, something similar. These things happen all the time, maybe every day at your club. But in this scenario, a member comes down the hallway on a Friday night. He's looking to get something to eat. He bumps into the first person he sees, which is a server that's only been there a few weeks. And this member's wearing blue jeans. But again, he's hungry. He wants to grab a quick bite to eat. He says to the server, "Hey, I'm here. I'm just looking to get something real quick. I'm really hungry, but I realize I'm in blue jeans. Am I allowed to wear jeans in the dining room tonight?" The newer server looks at him. She doesn't know. She's not sure. All she can say is, "I'm not sure. Let me find out." So she runs around looking for the manager to ask the manager if you're allowed to wear jeans in the dining room. Once she finds the manager, he's busy with another member, can't break away. She looks for another coworker. "Can you wear jeans in the dining room tonight?" That coworker's not sure. Asks another one. That coworker says, "I think you can, but I don't know. I don't want to say." Finally, somebody says, "Why don't you look at the dress code?" Server says, "Well, where's the dress code?" Somebody says, "Well, it's on the website." How do I get on the website? So now people are surrounded around a computer trying to get on a website to check the dress code because nobody really wants to say whether you can wear jeans or not and deal with the repercussions if they give the wrong answer. Time goes by. This member's getting more frustrated and more frustrated. He's hungry. It's been 15 minutes already. Finally, they find out in the dress code you can wear jeans in the you cannot wear jeans in the dining room. She finds the member finally. At this point, he's infuriated. All she can say is, "No, you cannot wear jeans in the dining room." He turns around, storms out, infuriated that he can't eat and that he had to wait that long to get a simple answer that everybody should know. In this case, the member experience has degraded. That member's never going to forget that. And unfortunately, this happens time and time again at clubs. I've seen it in my 25 years in working at clubs. I've been a part of it. The problems that we're seeing is that policies are hard to find. We train people on them. They can't remember them. They don't have an easy way to look them up. Institutional knowledge that is living in a manager's head or somebody that's been there for a long time, that's not put on paper or it's not put in an easily accessible place. We coach somebody, we coach them up, they're doing well, they leave. Now we're starting from scratch again. And as we all know, don't get us started on starting from scratch with boards. Every board member coming in has a different idea of what they're supposed to do on the board, what it means to be a board member. So that's one of the issues, but what I feel like the problem we're really solving for here is inconsistent member experiences. It's not just that our policies and procedures are all over the place. It's the member experience that those things produce and the lack of the consistent member experience that we're all striving to produce at our clubs. As managers, that's what we're paid to do, is produce a member experience that matches the value of the club, that matches the expectations of the club. And we all know in this business, it's hard, no matter what department you're in, or if you're overseeing the whole club. Again, when staff turns over, that's an issue. We have knowledge that's left the door, and we know what staff turnover has been the last few years. As managers, we're pulled in too many different directions. We can't be everywhere all the time, involved in each member interaction. We shouldn't have to be. We also have difficulties training and onboarding staff on a regular basis. Maybe one manager does a great job training and onboarding in their department, but the other department head in another department doesn't do as good of a job. Maybe the standards aren't uniform across departments, or we have standards, but they're not easily found. They're not repeated over time, and they don't become part of the culture. So my solution to this problem is Thrive, the AI-powered operating system that improves your member experience. So what we're building is a place where you take all of your centralized policies, all of your key policies that are part of your club, your documents, your standards, your training materials, your rules, your bylaws, all put in one place that becomes the centralized brain of your club. We're also adding what I think is a really distinguishing factor, which we're calling the care formula, which is a way of providing service coaching to your team, whether it's hourly staff, salaried staff, managers, providing coaching to help in these difficult member interactions, like the example that I provided at the start of the presentation. And with any AI product, this grows smarter over time. So the sooner you get involved, the more it gets to know your club, to understand you, your culture, your standards, your expectations, and becomes part of your everyday operation. And we're building it for web and mobile. So this needs to be easily accessible. It's going to be accessible through a website and also through a mobile app. So I started putting this idea together back in April. I had this thought. I've been using AI a lot at work. I used it to solve a couple problems at the club that really helped me. I thought, what can we do to try to grow this and try to make something that's specific for clubs? I've talked to some people in the industry, some friends and colleagues. I talked to some people that have run successful software startups. And by July, I had a team together that's actually working on building this prototype and our MVP. And I'm happy to say that our MVP should be launching in September, might be as soon as 2 weeks. But by the end of the month, we will have a fully functional prototype that I'm going to start rolling out at St. David's. That's my club that I'm currently manager at. And piloting there with our department heads and some of our staff to get feedback on how it works and how we can make it better. I also have some colleagues lined up that are going to be willing to help test it out at their club as well. Some of you might be asking about security. If we're dumping all of our important club documents into an AI product, how do we know that it's not going to be used for coaching other AI models, or it's not going to be accessible by other clubs that may be part of Thrive? The CTO that I'm working with has built a HIPAA compliant AI app for therapists. So he's got security protocols in place that work for HIPAA standards, so they're going to work for club standards. I mentioned earlier about the care formula and how I believe this is a differentiator. So the care formula I've compiled together based on behavioral psychology methods and standards. This is something I've been trained on. I feel like everybody in the industry should be trained on these philosophies and these methods because they've been a game changer for me. I use them almost every day at the club. As I said, it's based on behavioral psychology principles that the FBI negotiators use, suicide hotlines, high volume customer service departments. Obviously, what we're working for here is not at the level of an FBI negotiator or a suicide hotline, thankfully, but we can use the same principles and we can use AI to help our staff be trained and be able to work in the moment in these difficult member interactions so that they don't escalate up become bigger than they need to be, and then create problems for us as the managers and as another fire that we have to put out. I do have a roadmap in mind for Thrive. So the MVP that we're working with right now is essentially the Thrive Ops module. There are 4 other modules that I've been working on that our team will be working on once we get the Thrive Ops piece really put together. Thrive Ops is going to be the standard operating procedures, our basic policies and procedures and rules, and the care formula coach. The next module that I would plan on rolling out, but this will all be based on feedback, would be Thrive Insight, which is essentially a lot of the same things that we're doing in the Thrive Ops model for our team and for our staff, and actually use it for our boards. So imagine if we could onboard our board members through an AI conversation that a board member could have that's all based on your club specifically. Imagine if we had meeting minutes in a place where I could easily search and have a conversation with an AI tool that's helping me sort through meeting minutes and actually giving me context about the decisions that were made in the past so that new board members understand why decisions were made so they don't end up making poor decisions and creating issues at their club. Thrive Pulse is the management side of this, the leadership side, I would call it. It's for coaching your teams. It's for logging conversations about one-on-ones that you have with your team members. It's for creating evaluation tools, performance tools, creating goals, and just being a coach there for a leader, just being an assistant that I can work with to help me be a better manager for my team. We'll also have a transcription tool that I can use in the board module for transcribing meetings that would then sum them up and create meeting minutes on the spot. I can also do that with my one-on-ones with my team. And I can have meeting notes that are summarized and held inside the Thrive tool. So I can keep a running list and a running memory of all the conversations and interactions I've had with my team. Thrive Edge is a finance and budgeting tool that I think we'll see out there as well with other companies that are working on some similar AI tools. And then Thrive Signal is an idea about having a way to easily message staff, send reminders out to staff, have AI generated coaching notes, have AI generated member engagement messages, I'm calling them. They go out to members, reminding them about things that are going on at the club. But again, it's AI powered. So as the manager or as a communications manager, I don't have to spend as much time getting those out as I would now normally. So why Thrive is different. A lot of these I've hit on already, but what I think one of the biggest pieces is it versus other AI tools that are out there right now is that it's built on your club. It's going to understand the difference between your club and the club down the street. It's going to know your standards. It's going to know your policies. It's going to know your culture, and it's going to get started. It's going to get smarter over time. Also, while I know that there are other AI tools being built out there, this is not going to be tied to a particular system. So potentially down the road, if this gets big enough, we can start working with other companies like, say, a Jonas to try to integrate with Jonas or other systems. But right now, this isn't locked in on one system. I can use this across the board no matter what POS system I have or whatever, no matter what website I have. Mention the care formula, mention how this learns and adapts over time. And this is role specific. So whether I'm the general manager, I'm a board member, I'm an hourly worker outside in the bag room, assistant pro, server, busboy, there are role specific access that everyone will have to the Thrive tool so that everyone doesn't have access to all the same information. Some is sensitive. And also it would then know how to coach an assistant pro versus a server or a department head versus a board member. And I mentioned the HIPAA level of security. the go-to-market strategy as it is right now is finish the MVP and start getting feedback. Feedback's really going to be important for how we iterate this and get some feedback from people in the industry on how we think we can improve this and how it can really become useful at your club and be something that you're using every day. Then get out to when we have we're beyond the prototype stage and we have something that other colleagues in the industry can test out at their club. That'll be phase 2. And then phase 3, assuming that we get to this point, it's being able to partner with industry leaders to make the tool more powerful. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. You see some quotes here at the bottom of the screen. These are from colleagues that I've talked to already about this. I've gotten really positive feedback from everyone I've spoken to, but I thought these were some quotes that stood out during those conversations. And we know that AI is here. It's here to stay. The closest thing I've seen to it in my career is, when everything started going online and clubs started moving to having a website and using email when we didn't use that back in the day. But I would ask anybody that may question AI, do you believe AI is going to be part of your operation and part of your management within the next 5 years? Anybody that says no to that, I would question how much they know and understand about AI, but I think most people would answer, yes, I assume it's going to be. So the sooner somebody gets out there and creates a tool like this, we can begin to define the category. What does an AI operations tool mean? So I think that's a huge opportunity here. It's a big vision, but it's really what excites me about this. You may be asking someone something about our team and maybe a little bit more about me that you don't know. As Jason said, I'm the general manager at St. David's Golf Club. I've been at St. David's for 15 years. 11 of those were as the head golf professional. I've been in the business now for 25 years. Had some great success at St. David's over the years, both as a golf professional in increasing our rounds, our sales, and being part of a team that took that club, as you see, from $3.9 million now to $7.5 million club. We're just a golf club in Old Donald, 18-hole Donald Ross, so we don't have anything but golf, but we're currently in the middle of a massive golf course restoration as well as a clubhouse renovation, which is our almost $12 million in capital projects that we're working on currently. I was also created a professional development platform back in 2017 called Golf Professional Growth. That was a multimedia platform where I built a website on my own, taught myself how to do that. I wrote 50,000 words in articles. I did 60 podcast episodes. I created, administered, and sold multiple education programs to PGA professionals. I only point that out because I've taken an idea from zero to launch before, and I'm confident in my abilities to do it while holding down a full-time job as well, and been fortunate to be recognized for a lot of those efforts through the PGA of America all the way up to a national award last year. My CTO is a longtime technologist. He's worked in startups. He's built his own startups and exited from them as well, most notably Wicket, which is facial recognition software that they're now using as ticketing windows as you go into NFL and MLB stadiums. So he built the technology behind that and has been a part of growing that company into what it is now. So I'm excited to have him as somebody to work with. And he has his team working on Thrive now to get us through this MVP and to get us to a prototype stage. So my vision is that this becomes the operating brain of private clubs. I want it to be something that you can't live without. And once you start using it, there's no way to switch to something else. Something that the more you use, the smarter it gets, the more it becomes ingrained in your management, in your operation, and in your club, and grows into something that we can get to as many clubs as possible, protecting what makes your club unique and ensures it's delivered every day by every person in every interaction. So with that, happy to take any questions if there are any.
Yeah, Dean, fantastic job.
Yeah.
this is unique in that most of the AI products that we see are kind of member facing or consumer facing, but the fact
Exactly.
that this is employee facing and younger employees being very, very accustomed to using ChatGPT and AI to ask questions, seems like an easy transition for a younger employee to fall right in love with this.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that I've thought a lot about because as I was researching competition, you see a lot of, a member concierge, use AI to answer easy questions for your members. I know at my club, they're not really in a hurry to talk to a chatbot. So, and I don't think many members at a lot of clubs are. So, really, this is almost the same thing, but still keeping that personal interaction with staff and members.
And do you envision this being a like a subscription annual model, or is it a monthly? Have you looked at performing yet?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an annual subscription, and we've talked about different pricing models. Maybe in a starter package, you can only upload X number of documents or X amount of data and get a certain amount of queries, maybe. And then as you scale up, you can really make it more robust. The more that you use it, then you're putting meeting minutes in there, and really getting to use all of the tools. And that would just be priced then, say 3 tiers within that.
Gotcha. Is there any other questions for Dean? And this is being recorded too, Dean, because we have a lot of people that are coming in and out, so I'm
Okay.
sending the recording to them. So what we'll do is I'm going to encourage anybody to reach out to me and I can make a connection. I'm sure that the club benchmarking guys will want to, sidebar with you as well as KKW because they're in the thick of it in every boardroom in America. So I'm sure they have some more questions for you.
That would be great. Love to speak
Okay.
to them or anybody else that has interest in it. Like I said, I'm excited and hopefully can have some conversations after this.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. And I will be in touch very soon.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yep. Bye. Okay, we're going to jump right over to Peter Marchetti. He's logging in right now. There's Peter.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, sir. So I'll just share a little bit about how we know each other, and then you can jump right into your show. So
Yeah.
Peter and I have known each other for 7 or 8 months now. He contacted us with a really cool idea that's already have developed it over the last several years, app-based program that connects golfers in these metropolitan cities to get to know each other and play in groups, and then have different events and just a communication tool. Has a lot of legs in Boston where he's at, and is now looking to kind of take it to the next level and scale into other metropolitan markets across the country. So, Peter, with that, I'm gonna hand it off to you and share what you got cooking.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for the introduction and honored to be part of this. I want to thank you, Jason, and Club Innovation Hub for letting me do this. Share my screen.
And Peter,
Can
before
you see
you
that
go
okay?
here, just
Oh,
so you know that this is being recorded, so there's some folks
okay.
that aren't on, and so we'll send it to them, and then anybody can reach out and connect with you sidebar.
Awesome. Can you see the screen fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm presenting today is our golf club, friendly competition and community without the country club price tag. So before getting into exactly what we do, wanted to give a little bit of background of myself. My name is Peter Marchetti. I grew up in Norwell, just south of Boston. I went to Colby College for a year before transferring to Clemson. Graduated with a biochemistry degree, was heading down the med school path when the pandemic hit. I had some time to look into this business idea and actually connected with Ray Cronin from Club Benchmarking, who's been an awesome mentor over these years, and ultimately started working with him at Club Benchmarking. And in July, sort of came to a crossroads where do I pursue a new job or do I pursue this business idea a little bit further? And where I'm at is I'm kind of just going to go for it and feel confident with this new business model that what I've been working on has evolved into. And so that's kind of where we're at. And so since 2022, the business has been called Swing Pass, and we have organized just one-off events for men, women, and a mix of both. And in March, I really had this sort of epiphany of listening to what the customers were wanting and looking for, and wanted to make it much more community focused and have a season-long aspect to it. And I started to realize that this is developing into basically a golf club for young public players. So that's what I've been working on. Have had over 1,400 people play in events these last few years, and currently we have 218 members in Boston. And I've been operating mainly as the solo co-founder. I've had people that have helped me along the way, but no one has put in the daily hours that I have. And I do have a future partner and co-founder. His name is Ryan Rizzo, and he's interested in coming on board as soon as financially possible. He is an iOS engineer at Whoop. It's a fitness wearable for anyone unfamiliar, and he has built 12 apps himself. He's been part of 2 golf startups based on apps that he helped develop. So he's very familiar with the startup space, the hours it takes. And he shares the same vision as I do with where our golf club can go. So he is anxious to kind of get on board whenever can.
Peter, I would just say, put it in presentation mode. It looks like it's in draft mode.
Oh,
your slideshow.
Swap.
Maybe use slideshow.
Use slideshow.
Yep, there you go. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Can see it fine?
Yep.
Okay. So what originally led me down this path was me being a casual public player myself. I would play in one annual outing a year, a charity outing. It's the best day, get all the friends together. You get to compete. Even if you don't have a serious shot at winning it, it's just a lot of fun. And I thought to myself, why do you have to be a member at a club to get stuff like this on a regular basis, or be a super experienced player for serious amateur events, or you just have weeknight leagues at playing stuff. So my thought was, I wish that we could do this as a casual player on a little bit more regular basis. And I realized that 75% of golfers are public players that also don't have regular friendly competitive outlets because they're not members at clubs. And along those same lines was, I wish that there was an easy way to connect with other young players, whether it's a friend bailing on a tee time or just networking in general. I wish that there was a way to easily connect with players. And I realized that a lot of people share that same sentiment, especially if they're new to a city. We have so many golfers that, hey, I just moved here. This is awesome because I now am able to connect with and have a whole new community of golfers. So that was the gap in the market, or rather the problem that I sort of started me down this path and why we're pursuing starting this. And the solution is exactly our golf club. So it is a club focused specifically for young public players that provides year-long friendly competition and community without having to join an expensive club. And based on projections and analysis, we feel that it will be able to yield 6.3 million in revenue by 2028, with an EBITDA of 1.4 million, a margin of 22.94%, with memberships and subscription driving the majority of revenue and profit there. Now, how big is this total addressable market? So we are going specifically after 22, 45-year-olds, both men and women, public on-course players, as well as off-course players. Based on analysis, we feel that the minimum number of members needed in an area is 750 to justify the average cost, as well as maintaining a healthy EBITDA margin. And if you work backwards from that, basically the minimum population that we would go after in a metropolitan statistical area is 358,000. There are 157 MSAs that match this. And if you break those down by 22 and 45-year-olds that are public on-course players or off-course, that total addressable market becomes 10.26 million. If you were to assume a 5% market capture at our average subscription price, that would be 93.9 million in subscription revenue. So the aspects of what we are offering and what makes up our golf club is first being the friendly competition. This comes in the form of monthly in-person events as well as flexible play on their own player schedule every month. All of these are season-long point races, and we have one, the Classic, geared more towards men or people that are more competitive, Lady Links for the women, and Social Circuit is where men and women come together in the course for a great time. The Classic Tour, so we have 18-hole events, varying formats, best ball, scrambles, net individual stroke play, and how you finish in those events, you can earn points. The other way you can earn points is by going playing on your own time each month with another member. And based on how you finish in your handicap tier, you can earn points that build towards your season lead, all leading up to October Tour Championship. The Lady Link Series and the Social Circuit, same idea about earning points at in-person events, but the other way that we allow you to earn points is simply by going and playing 9 holes at designated courses with other members. So we are incentivizing you to go out and meet other people that are members and just play. Your score doesn't matter. And so it's a casual and approachable way for people that aren't that great or not that serious to get into it and meet some other people. Now, the community aspect of our golf club comes in really the form of 2 different things. Well, it's the in-person events, of course, you can meet people there. But we have a chat forum that is very active. We have one for the Classic Tour, Social Circuit, and Lady Link Series. And as you can see here, these are screenshots I've taken from our chat forums. People are constantly finding people to play with, whether it's for on their own time or for the monthly play or for events or just to talk anything golf. These are very active, and I have used it for my buddy that bails at 10 p.m. the night before tee time, throwing out there, hey, I've always thought there's got to be thousands of other young, normal golfers, but I don't have an easy way to connect with them. And so I've already used it for exactly that. And a lot of other people have as well. The other option or the other community aspect is this pairing feature. So because we require you to be with other members or play with other members each month to earn points, the ways that you can find other people to play with, you either have friends that are members, you can find it through the chat forum, or we can selectively pair you. So we pair people based on first availability, age, location preferences, and golfing skill levels. And out of our 218 members, over 60% of them have submitted pairing features or pairing requests and have had, these are all photos that are just submitted. I have them prove it because I don't have a robust app yet that hopefully Ryan will be building. But so these are just people that are going out meeting on the course. And I have so many stories about new friendships and guys that they now go and play with every week on their own time from. So it's been really cool to see and get the feedback from everyone on this side of things. In terms of generating revenue, the main driver behind this is going to be the membership subscription. So we have basic, premium, and gold levels, and all of them come with entry into any of those season-long competitions that I talked about, the Classic Tour, Lady Link, Social Circuit, access to those member chat forums, and the option to get selectively paired each month, as well as perks and some discounts at local partners that we have. The premium membership comes with discounts to all the in-person events, $15 for 9 holes on average, $20 for 18 holes on average. And the gold subscription we have not yet built out, but plan to in 2026. And the big perk of this will be limited access to private clubs. The other way that we will generate revenue is through event registrations. These are more intended to drive people towards memberships, but also give people a regular outlet to play in something. So public players can play in them. You don't have to be a member to do it. And a little bit higher margins on those as opposed to the premium members. But ultimately, the idea is why wouldn't you pay an extra $15 to $20 to come and play in this event? Before we get into Q&A, the trends that we are capitalizing on is golf is now young and cool. So more and more young people are getting into the game. There's plenty of statistics to support it. The 18 to 34-year-olds is now the largest segment of on-course players. Junior players 6 to 18 has grown at 41% since 2019. And in terms of the cool factor of golf, this has definitely helped driving young players towards it by increases of social media influencers, YouTube golfers. I'm sure some of you have heard of Good Golf. They have 1.9 million subscribers on YouTube, but all of this and social media is making golf cool and young, and we are going to capitalize on that trend. Additionally, women are one of the fastest growing segments of golf. They've grown 41% since 2019. They now represent 28% of on-course players, which is the largest percentage they've ever been. Because we appeal not only to men, the largest segment of golf, but also to women, we are going to capitalize on the total market. The fact that off-course venues are getting more and more people into the game who are using that as a sort of jumping point onto on-course play. The fact that we're approachable and casual is going to capitalize on all these players that are getting into it. And also, probably more than ever, people are craving real life connections. So in a world where everyone lives with their faces buried in a phone and an app, we've started to get sick of it, and people are really craving unique ways to connect with others. And the fact that we offer the chat forums, the pairing feature, the in-person events, we make it super easy for people to connect in real life. So those are the trends that our golf club is going to capitalize on. That's all I got, and I want to open it up to Q&A.
Very good, Peter. Spencer?
Hey, Peter, good to see you again, man.
You too.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. You've come a long way since we last chatted. Lots of pivots.
Yeah.
I love it. Good work,
Yes.
man. I couldn't agree more as far as people wanting to connect in real life. I think there's so much noise around AI, and not to disparage anybody working in AI. That's not why I'm saying this, but just like any wave of new innovation, everything's going to consolidate, but what is not going to change is people wanting to connect in real life. So just wanted to give you kudos for continuing down this journey. Sadly, I just got somebody at my door that I need to go see because we have a leak in our house. So I do want to connect with you separately. I wanted to chat a little more, but yeah, I want to catch up with you on another chat, please.
Awesome.
So good job, Peter.
Appreciate it.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Good luck.
Peter, I had one question came in that someone's on the road, but are you able, or can you get a discount at the public golf facilities that one of your members could get when they go play? And that could be the justifying marketing message. Says, hey, pay the $69 a year or a month because you're going to get 10% off at XYZ Club, and it just do the math.
Yep. So currently we have discounts or perks rather, a free bucket of balls if you go play somewhere, but we don't have discounts on green fees. The plan with that would be to eventually offer that where, as we grow this, and let's say we have 1,000, 1,500 members in Boston and are able to designate. So we designate the courses they go and play at each month. So we can basically send, hundreds of golfers to a course in a month. And my goal is to be able to kind of leverage that with courses to say, hey, I can send 300 golfers your way if you're willing to give a slight discount on tee times. So as the volume of our network grows, I hope to be able to offer that. Currently, we don't. Although we have worked with clubs in a month. One of our partner courses said, hey, are you willing to offer 50% off just greens fees to Swing Pass members? I had an event cancel and would love to see if we can kind of use it to get some people in. No one's usually coming in on this time. So exploring that, but not currently, and would love to have it be a part as we grow.
And then another one came in, assuming you're doing a lot of this human work right now because you don't have the MVP, built out. Do you envision an API similar to Golf Now that the app could connect directly to the tee sheet of the supporting facilities?
Potentially one of the thoughts of additional revenue streams is that sort of third place or, a marketplace for tee times. I have looked into that, and actually my original business idea with Swing Pass was, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Class Pass. It's basically you earn credits and you can get discounts to fitness studios every month, and I wanted to do that for golf. So I had explored connecting with a number of different APIs. So Currently, we do not, but I think it would be something. I've learned that it's definitely possible, and I would love to explore that more as an additional revenue stream down the line and be able to say, hey, we have a chunk of tea times, potentially for members, or just allow people to book directly through us.
Very good. Is there any other questions for Peter? Nope, looks like that's it. Well, thanks so much, man. Great job on the presentation. And looks like Spencer wants to hook up with you after. And then anybody else who wants to talk to Peter sidebar about what he's doing and ask some additional questions, obviously just let me know and I'll make the introduction.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jason. And thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. Okay, looks like we have Christian. Since we went back to back to back there for the last hour, I'm gonna give everyone just a couple minute break to run and grab some caffeine, and then we have two remaining. So I appreciate everyone for sticking around all afternoon. These last two are gonna be really good, and we will pick it up here in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, we have Christian Oster joining us. Christian,
Jason, how are you, sir?
doing well, sir. Thanks for jumping in here. I appreciate it. Just a couple of housekeeping things here. We just took a couple minutes break so everyone could grab some coffee and whatnot. So, Christian, just so you know, we have about 12 people on right now. People are coming in and out, and so this is being recorded. So for everyone that did miss your presentation, they're going to be able a chance to watch it themselves. So just know that. And then we're just imploring anybody they want to talk to you sidebar and understand a little bit more about what your vision is, that we can do that separately, and they'll just reach out after they get a good overview today. So,
Understood. Sounds good.
okay. So before we get going here, I'll just share a little bit about Christian. So he was really the first one in the Club Innovation Hub when we started in the spring for the master class, and kind of taking that idea he had about and passion about club fitting and teaching and turning it into kind of more mobile as opposed to stationary. And as you'll see, he's an expert in what he does. PGA member, and his true passion is that side of the business. And so what we were really working through over the last several months is, how do you replicate yourself across the country so you can take Christian B and put him in Scottsdale and Christian C in Hilton Head. And I think he's figured out the model, and so I'm excited for him to kind of walk you through it. For those of you that have ever involved in franchise-based modeling, I think you're really going to dig this because I haven't heard of such a thing until what he's going to present you today. So, Christian, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate all the compliments there. I want to first start off by asking the panelists who has been fit for clubs, and let alone who has been fit for their clubs outdoors to where they're hitting onto an actual driving range rather than into a screen a couple feet in front of you.
I'm sharing
So
that. Yeah.
So we have Miss Sharon, we have Tim. So kind of what I'm getting at here is we don't have a lot of people, and let me share my screen here. We don't have a lot of people getting fit for outdoors, and that's a big killer in the industry. And I don't see there's people that want this, and there's not anyone really doing it, especially in a mobile aspect, to where they're waiting, members are waiting, public golfers are waiting for multiple weeks, months even, until their one rep comes around for Titleist, and then they have to go ahead and wait again for the Callaway rep to come by, and then a month or so has gone by, their swing has changed, and they may not have the same swing with that Titleist driver to that Callaway driver now. So our goal is to bring all those together and have a mobile service in which we can fit golfers, members at the tour level mobily. So we're going to start by going over disclosure statement, basic stuff here, and jumping right into our executive summary. We're a modern golf brand and custom equipment studio offerings, tour level fittings, premium components, and performance driven content. So we'll get into the content a little bit later, but the tour level fittings, we're comparing, Callaways to TaylorMades to Titleist. We're jumping all over the map here when it comes to equipment. We're not just solely focused on being, I kind of joke around with the Titleist warrior, the one guy that plays solely Titleist. Yes, we can definitely help that gentleman or lady, but we want to have a good mix to where they can get the exact best equipment for them, not just one brand. So we have a very expansive demo matrix, which includes right now Graphite Design, Fujikura, as well as now True Temper Golf and many of their subdivisions that we've brought on. We also have a lot of content, which focuses on getting some basic swing tips out there, kind of hooking my audience on social media to bring them in as a golfer. Going into fittings, did you guys know that there's 70 million golfers worldwide with 26 million in the US? Those golfers, only 10 to 15% of them have been custom fit for their clubs, which is a tremendous opportunity. I'm seeing about 85 to 90% of those golfers that don't have custom clubs, and not saying it's always the golf swing here. It can be the club at times, and that's where the opportunity arises to get those people fit into clubs. And an estimated 35% of serious golfers are likely to get fit in a 3-year cycle. So basically, every 3 years, they're going to be probably changing out a driver. Changing out irons is a little less frequent, but definitely the top end of the bag, the wedges, all that stuff is very kind of in and out of their golf bags, especially with golfers that aren't fit properly. Now, if they're fit properly, that is definitely going to be a 3-year cycle. They may even come back 2 years just because they enjoyed the experience you offered, that tour level experience. And at the ease of them, because you're mobile, you can go anywhere, really. So some fitting analytics I have here is both gentlemen here I've done recently. So the average shaft cost we have is about $172. We sell them on average for $373. Those shafts can always vary based off of who it is, how much we've sold from that company, everything like that. But on average, we're making about 46% margin, which can hopefully grow the more business we do. And our year one forecast is selling about 50 shafts, bringing in about $9,500 in revenue, a little bit more than that. So moving on to the instruction side of business, not only are we fitters, we're also golf instructors. You don't want to have one and the other separate. You want those two to be talking together, especially with golfers who are in the process of doing a swing change and are having a fitting. You don't want them to get a club that's fully built for them at the time. You want them to have a club that's built for a lifetime. So 40% of golfers have taken lessons. That was found in a study from Golf Now. Basically, there's 60% of golfers that haven't taken lessons, the way I'm looking at it. And whether that be in person or virtual, which we've also now rolled out a virtual coaching platform. We do use some software, Golf Genius's Coach Now platform. Basically, virtual coaching allows one coach, myself, to take virtual instruction to many golfers or one. I can have a one-on-one here with any of y'all, or I can have a full-on group lesson style that encompasses a lot of other aspects, all at the same kind of time, because virtual lessons are based off a lot of video, a lot of interaction, Zoom calls, stuff like that. And the virtual lesson market is booming, as well as the subscription-based side of it, to where you can get golfers to not only say, hey, I want a lesson, rather than saying a lesson, they'll say, I want 10 lessons, or I want to have you for the year even, so you can get people subscribed to you as a coach, building not only your brand with them and having them spread the word about your coaching, but also getting that continuous revenue in the door. And the subscription-based analytics based off of our current online lesson platforms, we have it broken down where they get a little bit of a benefit if they do it annually. And we also, as part of, jumping up, they get more access, they get more of a perk. Even at Birdie Hunter, you get a lot of free gifts, a lot of cool things throughout the year. So customization is the other part of our business, kind of the last part of our business here. It's growing and growing, whether it be custom ferrules, as you can see on the bottom there with those two sets of irons, or on the top with the custom stamping. The customization aspect is only growing, much like social media, especially with the younger crowd. It's just a huge gap that is not necessarily being filled in an open manner. It's kind of people doing it on the down low. They're not too boisterous about it, but it has a very strong appeal to younger golfers, which members are getting younger at a lot of these private clubs. And golfers in general are getting younger via, Top Golf and Drive Shack. All those non-green grass golf facilities are bringing more golfers into the sport, which are also younger, and then they eventually will convert over. But the customization, it's a big high margin add-on. We make about 70%, if I remember off the top of my head, with customization when it comes to ferrules. Stamping is completely 100%. All the equipment and everything like that's paid for. The only thing you really got to get after that is just colors, really. So nothing big there. So high margin add-ons, great appeal for younger golfers, gift buyers, and social media users. Make your club stand out. I've seen it used for groomsmen's gift, Father's Day gifts, birthdays, real estate stuff, as well as many other special occasions. Now, you guys may be asking, how do you get your name out there? So we do a lot of marketing when it comes to social media. I currently post 3 times a day, every day I've been doing that now for probably about the last 2 months on Instagram. TikTok is not as much used, but also I've been a part of a few conventions. One in particular that stands out is Inman Connect, with a large group of realtors, which you can see that voucher up top. We gave out to the winner of a Close to the Pin competition a free month of virtual golf lessons. It was the very first tier, but our goal in our marketing platform is to reach 500,000 golfers in year 1 and capture about 5,000 users and followers in our database, basically to where we can help target them for special promotions, special drops, everything like that, as well as a Golf Life Navigators e-blast, to where we're going to be able to reach a lot of people in that as well as quarterly apparel drops to get people hyped up about our brand, get them wearing it, get their friends out on the street, not necessarily on the golf course just yet. We haven't figured out how to get polos and stuff of that nature quite yet, but we're doing a lot of streetwear, getting a very casual appeal to golfers. We also bundle it with services. So if you buy you got ferrules installed, but you come pick them up, you're not wearing a hat. Hey, would you like a hat? You throw it in there, high margin of an ad on there because you make about 50%, and you're also raising a lot of awareness through social media. You see those social media posts on the side. Not only do we market the apparel as well, but we do market the coaching, where we're going to be, when, all that kind of good stuff, where they can find us, where they can get some of their merch if they're not local to Fort Myers, Florida. As well as we have an advisory council of 3 PGA members at the moment, definitely seeking a marketing expert as well as a scaling expert. Clearly for the marketing expert, we need someone that's going to help us reach those 500,000 people and get all that kind of good stuff. And then proof of concept, you guys can see here, I have 4 people listed. Some of the people do simply just grips. Some of them do the full package of fitting, lessons, all that kind of good stuff. That's 4 people. Imagine if I had 4,000. That's going to be a pretty good revenue coming in from just those 4 people. Now imagine 4,000 of those. Scalability, y'all may be wondering, how is he going to duplicate himself, much like Jason said in the beginning of our call here. So our scalability model is going to be the franchise model. It's going to be about $75,000 to $100,000 to purchase the rights. The royalties is always up for discussion, but our growth goal is to have 15 franchise markets by year 3, targeting California, the Carolinas, Texas, and possibly even Colorado. Our revenue assumptions based off those 15 franchise markets could be anywhere from $750,000 to $1,875,000. So the last slide here, capital raise. We're definitely seeking to raise $150,000 in growth capital to perfect my existing model in preparation to scale to those other 15 markets and be able to go to those markets with full force, a perfected model, and one that we know will succeed. So I anticipate using the capital in shaft additions, fairway woods, I should say, and irons, as well as fitting heads, a new launch monitor. We already have one, but it's not the top of the line, and it's all about perception when you're dealing with golfers. Club building equipment, not as much stuff needed there, but $6,000, some marketing, freelancing, and then franchise legal fees to get everything buttoned up and ready to franchise. So I appreciate the time, everyone, and for a formal discussion afterwards, here's my contact information if you guys would like to reach out.
Thanks, Christian. Good job. The one thing I would ask you is, just to share the story of you've had people reach out to you, buddies or colleagues from other parts of the country, saying, "Dude, how are you doing it down there?" And that's what's kind of spurred this idea of, can I build a system and a playbook to offer somebody?
Correct. So I've had people from Wisconsin that I know, as well as Nebraska, also reach out to me. They've had to incorporate their business into an already freestanding facility. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to go out and do it themselves. So they've been asking me, how do you do this? And the simple way is, excuse me, the simple answer is, you just market yourself, you talk to people, you get the word out, and start having people just get the equipment in their hands, and then they will feel the difference. They will physically see the difference, whether it's the ball flying through the air or the simple numbers, but most times they will notice the golf ball traveling farther through the air, because everyone wants distance nowadays, especially on the drive, which is what we've solely been focused on so far. But they will see the difference right off the bat, and that's the biggest thing here, is getting people to try everything side by side, outdoors, to where they have that tour level experience, as if they're going to and from a tour truck that's at the tour championship. and getting a club built for them, and everything is to their spec, not just off the rack, because just off the rack stuff is 9 times out of 10 not good enough for the golfers that are serious out there.
Tim, I'm gonna have you jump on here if you don't mind. You're probably the premier systems guy that I know of. Any advice or how you see Christian's model in terms of wrapping up everything that he does and putting it into a system that involves training? How do you see that going for him?
Yeah, that's a good point. You might want to go and work with the previous speaker who had that app that puts all your standard operating procedures on something on a mobile phone, on an AI learning app. Yeah, I think the key is it has to be turnkey. And so whatever you do, it has to be like we talked about. Your financials have to tell a story, and you have to sit down and craft this out so beautifully. If you haven't read the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, read that book. It's about franchise prototypes. Like a McDonald's is a franchise prototype. It's not, it's not about the burgers. It's about the consistency. It's about the absolute consistency and performance, both financially as well as the product. So I think you have to say to yourself, okay, if I was to handed this out of nowhere, could I replicate it? And if until you can say 100% absolutely, it's so perfectly structured and beautiful that I can't mess it up. But I love the idea of the app that the gentleman before was using. What was his? I'm sorry.
Thrive.
Jason?
It was called Thrive. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the concept is instead of handing somebody binders, if you could use that Club Thrive concept and say, hey, here's your thing. It's all right here. Just ask, or something along those lines so that it can be, everything's the phone. I think everything is the phone, especially if you're mobile, right? You're not going to be like pulling out your laptop, trying to mess with a laptop. So if you can replicate what you're doing via the phone, and they can use that to consistently produce the high quality experience and products that you're performing on. I think that's the key. And then I would also suggest you do some kind of certification, create some sort of easy open book certification so that you say, hey, great, you've done it all. Now take this open book. It's not like you're trying to catch them doing it wrong, but you're just saying, prove to me you've thought about it enough to be able to complete this certification exam and award them something so they can say, I'm a certified, that kind of thing. And I think it adds legitimacy. That's just a couple ideas.
Yes, sir.
David, you got your hand raised?
Yes, Christian, great presentation. Just wanted to see what your thoughts were on, the B2B side from a private club or facility perspective that already has a little bit of club fitting and instruction, maybe wants to enhance it, or how it could supplement, what's existing, especially at a private club where members kind of have their own, instructors that they've used over the years. What would be your plans to kind of, introduce this franchising model to that space?
That's a great question, David. So for the private facilities that already have, their members have their instructors, I would work with their instructors and ask that if possible during any sort of fitting, that their instructor be there so we can talk as professionals about, what is their swing change at the moment. So that way we can figure out what, is good now, but will be great once they get over that hump of making this swing change. As well as, it would be some form of a agreement when it comes to selling stuff. The aftermarket shafts would most definitely be purchased through Oster Golf Co. rather than the companies. They can definitely get their drivers. The goal is also in a private facility, they want to clean out their inventory. They don't want to send all that stuff back to the companies, your calories, your pings, what have you. They don't want to sell, or they don't want to have to send that back, pay all the shipping. So the goal is that the member buys the driver there in the shop, then they'll come over to me and they pay the shop as well. for the complete package, and then the shop would eventually just pay me in one lump sum at the end, at the end of the month, whenever the fitting was, you'd work that out with the facility themselves. But definitely work with instructors to help their golfer improve long term. Again, thinking down the road rather than just selling something now to make them happy now. We know that's not going to work once they start tucking that right elbow in or something to that nature. They'll need something that doesn't launch as high or what have you. So,
no, that's great. Thank you, sir. Great presentation.
Thank you, sir.
And Chris, I don't know if you see the chat box or not, but Chris Hart with the PGA of America, innovation programming sent you a note to check out thegolfgarage.net. You might be able to learn something from them. See us kind of a similar.
Yeah, they're just in that business, so kind of you could you could learn from them, Christian. A good idea is always to you can copy others and not be afraid to reach out to folks to kind of learn what they've done. They're in a similar realm, and I think that the one thing you should think about a little bit is just the competitive landscape, because obviously I agree, club fitting, there's a big opportunity. There's a lot of people now doing it. A lot of the OEMs are doing it themselves. You have Club Champion, TrueSpec, Golf Tech, many others who weren't into it now getting into it. So you just got to figure out your right lane. And most importantly, if you're going to franchise, you got to figure out what you're actually franchising and like why you're different. Because, those other businesses are all franchises as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. I definitely understand. That's why the biggest thing about our company is the mobile aspect of it. Because True Specs, your club champions, again, they're hitting directly into that screen.
Yep.
True Specs, you understand they have some of the outdoor facilities, but also they're not mobile. The mobile aspect of being able to go to Club A today, Club B tomorrow, Club C the next day, and jump around and assist all those people with club fittings. That is the overall goal of the company, is to help as many golfers as possible in a mobile aspect, to where they don't have to even leave their club or their typical playing facility to get fit for a club. And not only, to your point of the OEMs come in, OEMs don't necessarily carry the actual food. I call them the actual Fujikura shafts, like the Ventus. They don't, a lot of them don't carry graphite design on their person when they come to the facility, minus Titleist, because I know they have their upcharge stuff, but they don't have the, I'm going to call them exotic golf shafts that some golfers may need or want to experiment with.
Yeah, and just here's another brand for you. Look at this guy in Texas. He does it here in this market. Literally goes club to club every day, every week. So I knew expanding to Texas, I think, was on your market. So just be got to be sensitive of competition, who people are doing it, what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a great
Cool.
comp. Yeah, the club fits.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the exact same, very similar business. So just be cognizant of that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, very cool. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate it. And again, if any sidebar things pop up, we'll get introduction, and you can go a little bit deeper in the kind of the overall strategy and the franchising model.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
everyone. Have a great day.
Okay, we have one more. And again, I appreciate everybody, sticking around all day and viewing these things, the different entrepreneurs. Is we kind of learned in the beginning they're from all different walks. You have people from later stage companies to early stage. So it was kind of a nice, a display of different businesses and that are coming onto the marketplace. So we'll give Ben and Jacob just a minute here and then get them locked and loaded. Here we are. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Doing well, sir.
You
Jake's
guys,
here.
you guys exhausted yet, or making it through?
No, I told everybody that I saved the best for last. And
All right,
yeah.
so who's going last?
Yeah, you guys are up.
Uh,
Thank you so much for jumping in. We've got roughly 10 other panelists on. I am recording the session, so this is going out to everybody that signed up. There's roughly 20 or so. They're kind of coming in and out all day long. So know that you're not just talking to us, you're kind of talking to them all when I share it. But I say that, saving the best for last because I'd really am excited about the product that they're working on. And just to share a little color, anybody who knows me and Golf Life Navigators, we're heavily in the membership sales world and provide a product that is helping membership directors. And over the last 4 or 5 years, COVID, the run on COVID, private golf, the membership director, typical one, had to shift from membership sales to membership communications. And now all of a sudden they're back to sales and doing communications at the same time. And I'm sensing a lot of overwhelmed membership directors across the industry because of this. And so the launch of Birdie, I think is really apropos, and I think it's got some definite legs. So I'm gonna set the stage here for Jake and Ben to take over. They have a demo to show you. And again, love your feedback and questions when they wrap it up.
yeah, no, we're excited. Jason, thanks so much for giving us this opportunity in this platform. I think we were really excited for this. And we would love to, you all know more than will forget more than Jacob and I will ever know here. And so, we're looking forward to just hearing whatever you guys think and getting feedback. And just ultimately, we are only going to go as far as our ability to take in information and knowledge from you all and build the best solution. So.
Yeah, jump in with questions wherever. We have a few slides we'll go through, and then we have a little product demo to talk through as well. Can you all see that?
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for making the time. Jacob and I, like I said, we're looking forward to talking to you all about Birdie. So to introduce ourselves quickly here, my name's Ben Givner. I grew up in sunny South Florida, surrounded by some of the best clubs in the country, before deciding to move to the frozen tundra in Michigan and study computer science at the University of Michigan. I spent time on the data science team at Meta before I then joined JMI Equity as a software investor.
Yeah, and hey everyone, it's great to meet you. I'm Jacob Walker. I grew up in the DC metro area where I spent a bunch of time in and around clubs playing tennis and golf. And I also coached tennis at both the Edgemoor Club and Bethesda Country Club. So I felt like, got a pretty deep appreciation both on the member experience side, but also on the staff experience side. I ended up studying applied math and econ at Brown University before doing 2.5 years of software due diligence consulting at the Boston Consulting Group, which I parlayed into a software investing role at JMI, which, as you can see, that's where Ben and I met.
Yeah, so JMI is a B2B software investment firm that invests in high growth, later stage startups, all that are hyper fixated on vertical market industry specific needs. We spent time with some of the logos on this page in property management, in field service, in customer success software. And what we saw is the value that's unlocked by good software that's designed for specific use cases and users in mind and wrapping the software around their workflow. And, again, the value you can unlock in terms of efficiency and growth. What we also saw on the horizon was starting to happen was the evolution and next chapter of software, guided by the impact AI was going to have, which we'll jump in on more in a little bit. But where this was happening the most was in a space that Jacob and I spent a large chunk of our time on while at JMI, which is the broader hospitality space, but more specifically, exactly with private club software.
Yeah, and so through this, private equity level due diligence on the broader club space, and also then our work over the last few months with Birdie, we've been able to have, a ton of discussions with industry leaders across the club landscape. So not just with general managers and membership and marketing directors, but also with association execs, golf and tennis pros, and consultants in the space to better discover what are the pain points that clubs are actually going through on a day-to-day basis. I think we got you muted, Ben.
Sorry, it always gets me. Two things really stuck out through those conversations time and time again. And I think the quotes on this screen really highlight it. But the first one is, personalization and a tailored experience is what really moves the needle with members. But being able to personalize engagement for each member at scale and doing so consistently is a daunting, time-consuming, and just challenging task to do. And part of the reason is the second theme, which is that club technology is 10 to 15 years behind the rest of the hospitality sector. And what happens is oftentimes while technology should enable that type of engagement, that type of marketing, and make operations more efficient, it often hamstrings club operations. And so, like we have it on the bottom, it comes out time and time again. Members want to be seen, valued, and connected. And what we found is that clubs were struggling to deliver that personalization at scale for each member consistently to make that a reality. And so when we dug in on it, these were kind of the core underlying reasons that we found. The first one is clubs are limited in their member segmentation and how they understand how different groups of members interact and connect with the club. Part of that is because the data that could inform that understanding is often locked away and siloed across the different software and technology tools that they're using to cobble together their operation. You might think you could pull a bunch of reports to understand what's going on, but even pulling reports is a difficult task. Typically, there's one, two, or maybe a couple more folks at a club that even know how to pull the right report at the right time to get the information they want. And lastly, maybe most importantly, is that to do this, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and staff are just stretched thin. To Jason, to your point, especially on the membership side, staff are wearing a ton of different hats with a ton of different responsibilities that have been heaped upon them. And as things are evolving, they just are feeling the weight of all this bearing down.
Yeah, and so in a lot of cases, that winds up resulting in impersonal engagement that can often disappoint members who are looking for that luxury, bespoke, tailored personal experience, which can in turn lead to disengaged members and often higher attrition rates. And, we've seen, GGA Partners did a survey where only 35% of club leaders actually feel effective at communicating the value of their clubs. And this in turn, it does lead to more resignations. And, Golf Digest was cited as saying there could be up to 15%, resignations could top 15% in 2025. And so pulling up, all of this is why we're building Birdie AI.
And so before we jump in on Birdie, wanted a level set on the underlying technology that is powering Birdie, which are at its core AI agents. So AI agents, you could think of it as digital employees that are powering the next generation of software. So whereas traditional software was centralizing data and information so that staff could go on their computer, log in, and see all the information. They had 10 different screens with 15 different buttons to send a bulk communication, pull a report, edit a member's information. AI now can understand, reason, and take action on data like humans can, instead of just enabling work to actually execute on the work. And the best part is it can work continuously. It can handle thousands of communications at once. It doesn't lose context, and they don't quit. All not to replace humans, because at the end of the day, human relationships and human service are at the core of what elevates the member experience and delivers what members seek. But it's to augment and support them so that staff could focus on that service, on those relationships, and on those members, and on growth and strategic initiatives as well, in order to push the club forward and deliver the personalization that moves the needle.
And so at a high level, Birdie is the marketing and engagement AI platform for private clubs. And, we could keep talking to you and walk through all this, on the page, but instead we thought it would be more impactful to actually show you guys a demo of the product, which Ben is pulling up right now.
Let me know if you guys see that. Okay, cool. So there are a few different components that I wanted to highlight and some more that, depending on time we could get to. The first one is our member dashboard. So here, the theme of how we wanted to build this was, too often clubs I've gotten used to the fact that people need to work around software when in reality, what should happen and how we think about what we're building is software and technology should work around people. And so we wanted to make this configurable and intuitive to use, down to the little details of being able to very simply change how you're viewing the columns of a report. But very easily, you want to see these are the basic fields of a member. You also want to understand tennis court booking information. So you go in here, you go most common day for tennis court bookings and most common time. And then you can see, Amanda likes to play Sundays early in the mornings. Christopher usually Thursday afternoons. And really easily across your amenities, get this information at your fingertips. And all of this is powered by our unified member profiles. So you click on a member and you have all their information here. You get a quick AI memory summary snapshot that equips and arms your staff with an understanding of this is what this member values and cares about, and this is how I can connect with them. Whether it's that Christopher is an avid tennis player, that he likes doubles matches, that he likes the morning swim sessions. And all of this is guided, if you go down in the engagement tab on our member profiles, you have a quick timeline of all their activities across fitness, tennis, golf, whatever amenities your club offers, you configure to track that data. And all that informs your member engagement insights. So here you can see for tennis lessons, Christopher likes to take tennis lessons. He takes 4 of them per month, usually on Monday nights, usually with Claudia. And then he books the courts 3 times per month, usually on Thursday afternoons, and he prefers court 1. And that exists across dining, golf, and again, all your amenities. So this is what software has historically done, which is equipping and arming people with data to do things. And so this wanted to be configurable and intuitive and easy to access. But where we like to say the magic happens is on the engagement agent. So now it's using all this data, what can we do? So here is our virtual engagement coordinator, where taking all that data, it's intelligently and automatically suggests engagement messages to keep the member continuously connected. So here, Christopher, offer tennis court booking to Christopher, approve or dismiss. So you're probably thinking, okay, what am I approving or dismissing? So you'll go here, and here's the rationale. Christopher has 10 tennis court bookings in the last month, consistently using court 1. So, hey, Christopher, court 1 has some great morning slots available this weekend. Would you like to book your usual time? And let's say, actually, I talked to Christopher, he wants to try out court 3. So instead, I can edit it to say court 3, save it, and shoot it off. And so this will happen both on an individual level, but also, members sometimes can be grouped together and act similarly. And so you could intelligently have segments of members surfaced by Birdie. So Birdie is suggesting Saturday night diners as a group that we should message, Friday morning golfers, tennis Tuesday players, and sending them a message. So you could click to see, here are all your Saturday night diners, Sarah, Michael, Emma. Here's the rationale for the message, just like last time. And here's the full message. And this is just a snapshot of what a message can look like, but Birdie will send a personalized message to each person. It'll say, hey, Emma, hope you enjoyed the lobster you had last week, so on and so forth. All acting as if you had a virtual engagement coordinator that understood each member and was able to engage them in the way that was most effective 24/7. So there are a few more features that I'd love to show you, easily adding any custom columns. If you wanted to easily track, hey, what is everyone's favorite movie? You can add a field for favorite movie or favorite drink and track it. But, we're building this out now. We're working with clubs. We're happy to talk about it, but wanted to reserve time going forward for some questions as well.
Thanks, guys. Love it, obviously. One question I had is, does the software communicate to an app that the member has, or is it through email or both?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we want to do is each club has a slightly different software stack, and we want to make everyone's life easier. We're not trying to rip and replace anything. So to the extent that we could integrate with their app and they make their app available to us, we would love to utilize that medium that they've already established with their member to send them a notification. But what's interesting is, just like Birdie learns the member activities that each member likes and prefers and habits of theirs, it also knows what's the most effective way of communicating with them. Is it a text? Is it an email? Is it an in-app notification? And so it'll also personalize the mode of communication to maximize efficacy.
Can Is it reading off of, is it linking with Jonas or Club Essential or other, and then it's so it can actually, it's going to go in and actually see the kind of wine that they ordered and the food that they ordered and the specific racket they purchased so that it knows right down to the minutia and it's gleaning that automatically.
Right. So what's great about Jonas and Club Essential and North Star and all these club management systems that have become really robust is there's a rich just reservoir of data that's sitting there waiting to be used. And it's all sitting there in logs. It's a matter of taking it, transforming it, and using it. And so what we want to, again, make everyone's life easier. So we just need to export the data. It's all exportable. It's because it's all there. You can pull the report. So we pull the report, we build an automated pipeline to, mimic an in-sync pipeline that then imports into Birdie and leverages it 24/7. Hope that answers the question.
Kurt, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm finding this pretty interesting, and the demo that you just gave us. How long a period of time was that data collected? I'm assuming that's a real life club somewhere in Colorado or something that you just exported the data from and built that.
So
Over
this
what
is
time?
actually, we created a dummy club
Yeah.
and populated it, but it can work with whatever time frame you want. So if you want to only be using 6 months, 12 months, it can work with a time frame of data that you set.
Guys, this is Dick Copland. Nice presentation, Ben and Jacob. I think it's quite interesting. Question for you is how do you anticipate monetizing this?
So initially what we want to do is, we want to make it predictable for clubs. And so we want to make it a typical SaaS subscription. Over time, I think as we prove out that we have ROI, we can make it more outcomes based. But initially, and for the foreseeable future, it would be a monthly subscription.
And Dick and Kurt, I would ask you guys, because you guys are in every boardroom in the country, is that common for a GM to pay a monthly subscription for a service like this? Or how does that work in terms of paying something like that?
Yeah, probably any of the above, monthly, quarterly, annually. I don't know that there's one that's better than another from what we've seen. Probably the smallest number you can get it down to, which would be monthly, is a little more palatable in some cases, and swallowable. But I think we talk about it all the time, the personalization of those experiences. In fact, I was just working on a board retreat on the flight that I was on this morning, talking about how to personalize communication experiences, which, you take it to the level that we're talking about, and the anticipatory piece of that we're always trying to train for in the industry. I would think this would resonate really, really well in the boardrooms.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is there's a ton of and more reporting tools, BI dashboards, which are
Right.
really powerful to identify at-risk members. But what's way more powerful and sustainable from an operations standpoint is proactively engaging them instead of waiting for folks to become at risk and then reactively trying to play whack-a-mole. And so keeping
Yeah.
them engaged, keeping them connected, can fight off retention or attrition, I should say, and can increase member satisfaction.
I wasn't thinking about that piece, but as you think it through, one of the things that I think we've observed, especially I'm down in Jupiter, Florida, um, myself and whichever one of you, I'm a Michigan Stater, so I'm still listening, even though I had to
I
sit through
shouldn't have
that piece.
mentioned it. Shoot.
Yeah, as my wife went to Michigan, so. But one of the things that I'd be interested how you eventually could address it. Many members, especially in the Florida market where they belong to multiple clubs many times, the value isn't necessarily using the club. It's knowing that it's there if I ever want to use it. So I may only use it once every 8 weeks, but I'm happy to pay for it, and I don't want to be viewed as an at-risk member. So, just as I don't have a question there, but just a comment that as you're looking at this, if it only develops anticipatory something based on usage, it may be wrong.
Right. And
Based on
what's
our experience.
cool about AI is the reasoning capability to
Yeah.
where you could, tell it almost like you're talking to a human, but we're not replacing humans, but say, hey, the context that you need for this member is that it's normal for them to come every other month or so, or only in the winter. And that way it'll train and learn from that, and then it'll adapt
Yeah.
accordingly.
You know, the other piece of this that we talk a lot about, or I talk a lot about, and I think Dick and Tom do too, is how do we more pinpoint the communication delivery methodology? Is there something in there that would help do that? Whether somebody needs you to pick up the phone, whether they want an email, a text, a hard copy, and so on. Is there some way to develop that out of this?
If I'm understanding correctly, I think the part that we've thought about it in the communication channels is we want to have as many available and then optimize for A, what that club prioritizes. You know, we only do emails, we only do text, we only do app. But also, I think as clubs evolve, they start to realize that omni-channel and meeting the member where they are, especially as their membership base kind of diversifies in terms of age, in terms of demographics and interests. It's important to meet them where they are, and that means communication is no different. So text, email, app, and pinpointing open rates, success rates, conversion rates. Birdie continuously will learn which one has the highest conversion and open rate, and then we'll optimize the communication for that.
Yeah, so it will actually figure out where and when and how they're opening it, and that will be part of it, right?
Right. That's what we are aiming to do. We want to make everything as data-driven as possible and have our AI engine learn from the data to continuously get better and better. So that way, over time, it's not that Birdie is static, but clubs are using it and it actually continuously improves because it's learning more and more about the club and about the members.
What about connecting individual members with other members? I mean, because it's great that you know what they're doing, but I mean, I think it's the creating the relationships, it's the connection with the other members, and so whether it's you know, is there could they give permission to be invited to certain? I don't know how can you cross pollinate so that they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something to the segmentation, intelligent segmentation of like understanding the pickleball players and the swimmers and, new members acclimating. And I think it's really interesting. And we've heard that from a few clubs. What I'd say is what we like is the feedback we'll get is, oh, this is cool technology. Can it do X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C also? And what we want to do is what we learned from software investing is remaining relentlessly focused on each problem at a time, prioritizing them, and then making it impactful means going after that and solving it as well as you can. So we definitely have that on the roadmap because connecting members is impactful, but we want to make sure we're hitting each module in a disciplined and well invested way. So in short, we want to get there, but not yet.
How do you envision once it's rolled out? One of the things that we've run across with club portals and other things like that are nice new tools, somebody's still got to administer those. GMs are too busy. There's still a lot of turnover in the club world. It's often an executive administrative assistant of some sort. Who manages this whole thing at the club level? And how do they get trained?
It's a great question. I think one thing is what we found is a little bit of the PTSD that club operators have from, oh, I'm having new software. That means I'm signing up for endless support calls, training sessions, telling staff over and over how to do it. And so the beauty is software that's built into 2025, well, it takes some training, yeah, but it should be a fraction of what it needs to, because it's built with the end user in mind, with making it as easy to understand and easy to use. Now, to your point of who's actually going to be using it, we want it to be based off of permissions, meaning the golf pro sees golf related information, the tennis pro sees tennis related information and can send those related messages. But the membership person and the GM will probably have main ownership of this. And we'll work with them hand in hand in addition to whoever else wants to use it. But we're envisioning it as your one-stop shop, not only to house member data, but it's action that is consistently going as if you had an extra team, full-time team of marketing and engagement coordinators working for you.
You guys, I have two messages that were texted me. Number one, the protection of the data. Can you talk about that?
Totally. Yeah, that intuitive configurable is a theme of what we want to build everything, but of the utmost importance is always going to be security. And we understand in software, but also specifically for clubs, member data security and privacy is significant and critical. And so we have database isolation such that each club is isolated from one another, so there's no data leakage. If that answered.
And then number two is, are you looking for a pilot club?
So happy to hit on that. We are currently finalizing or in the midst of talking with clubs to pilot this.
Okay.
So we've had a number of demos. The way we want to do it is, we hit on in the beginning, but the best software that we invested in was built from the ground up and at first with customers sitting right next to them so that it was wrapped around the solutions that they actually wanted. And so we don't want to build something and then spring it on and say, hey, club ABC, here's our solution, use it or not. We want to build it hand in hand so that you got club operators steer the product roadmap and vision. So all to say, we're finalizing design partnerships with a couple of clubs that will help steer that roadmap and pilot Birdie so that it can continue to grow.
We can probably help should you need that with some pretty good beta site folks. And I'm thinking you may not be at this stage yet when you think of what the monthly, quarterly, or annual cost might be, but yeah, there's always the go-to clubs down here in Florida, the big boys that can afford anything and don't mind testing it. But the vast majority of clubs are $10 million gross revenue operations, not like the $60-80 million clubs that there are down in Florida. Do you see the modeling being able to, the clubs that need it the most are typically the clubs that can't afford it. Do you see being able to scale it and model it so that those smaller clubs could advantage themselves of it? Because that would really be a game changer for many of them.
Totally. No, we want to make this available to anyone that it can impact, and we want it to work. We'll have different tiers that are both membership number-based and feature-based. And so like any other good software company, we're not going to limit ourselves because, we're being greedy. And so we want to work with clubs because ultimately, I think if we show that we're generating outcomes and generating results and making your life easier, we can come to an agreement that leaves both sides happy and happy for a long time.
Yeah, what's your gut, and you may have it even more definitive, but what's your gut range likely going to be for that subscription?
I would be a little bit premature to give you a number right now, because frankly, we have to do more price discovery. And part of what we would love to talk to you all about is how to think that through, and get the data to make the best informed decision. That again works for us, but works for our addressable market.
Yeah, we could
Kurt,
probably help.
The only other thing I'd add on that is, when we think through the pilot club, we know there's ROI there. We want to understand the actual dollar ROI, which I think will help also inform the pricing over time.
Yeah.
But sorry, you were mentioning.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say between all of the club folks on this Zoom, we could probably identify 2 or 3 of what I'd call the small tier clubs, mid tier clubs, and the big boy clubs that have, and you probably have this down, so I'm probably being obvious as I say all this, but having perspective from each of those, some of which have lots of people on staff. I left Admiral's Cove folks yesterday who have 5 people in their IT department, and then I go to the club that barely has that Dick might be running, that Richard Copland might be running there, who doesn't know where to turn the computer on at times.
Wow, that's fire!
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Dick would tell you that. Having that kind of perspective could be helpful, and even if you wanted some focus group input without having to do a beta test, we could probably gather those folks pretty easily and quickly, and you'd get a lot of very good candor right off the bat.
Yeah, we would love that. We're in the phase where we've done a ton of validation and market work over the past months and months and months. And we want to, have clubs, start to be design partners and pilot it, but also understand the value that it's bringing to them and pricing as well to, really concretize this.
Good. Oh, impressive stuff. Congrats to you.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback. Jacob, I don't know if you wanted to flash the last slide or anything.
No, I think the last thing is, the only other thing I'd mention is, we're starting to do a small fundraise to bring on a founding engineer and then also cover some, overhead costs. So as folks would potentially be interested in that, or an more in-depth call on the demo, like you just talked about, Kurt, we'd be happy to do either of those.
Yeah, I think that's warranted. We'll definitely have that call.
Awesome. Tim, I know you had a question in the chat on North Star and interfacing. I think we would love to have an integration and an API integration with the big club management software vendors. But part of why we want to work closely during implementation with the club is because we want to be able to build that generated export or the automated export pipeline transfer and then import into Birdie, which we're confident we can do. But we just need to work to configure it and set it up first, although it shouldn't take overly long. But that's the workaround. And then once we have enough club demand that to say, hey, North Star, Club Essential, Jonas, we like these guys, could you integrate with them? Then we can start to have that API.
Yeah, I love the word pull rather than push. I mean, if it can just be an automatic pulling of data, it just saves so much time than having to go in and say, oh, don't forget to upload and download and cross load and it's just nice when it's all automated.
Yeah, we don't want to have Birdie bugging club operators saying, upload the data today, upload the data to now. Now, we want, again, our whole theory and philosophy is software to make people's lives easier, not to make that harder and working around us. So every step of the way, whatever we can do to make it frictionless is what we'll do.
Well, and I'd be happy to talk to you about KPIs too, because it's critical. Not on ROI in a private club can be measured in a lot of different ways, from net promoter score to satisfaction scores to gross revenues, to usage.
Retention.
So you want to be fairly broad in how you anticipate defining ROI. So it could be retention rates, that kind of thing. So interesting.
We would love to have that conversation to the extent that anyone is available and willing to have a follow-up conversation on the fundraise, but also importantly, off of that, just on feedback and more discovery of validation, pricing, value, ROI. We're eager and excited, and it's a lot of fun for us. We love this. We love building. We want to build fast. We're hungry. And speaking to you all with, again, your wealth of knowledge is so, so important to us. And, we don't take it for granted. So really appreciate you all taking the time. And, we are looking forward to working with each of you and building a relationship with each of you.
Easy question, guys. How'd you come up with the name Birdie?
Jacob, I don't know. Was it me or was it you? Or who was it?
We were thinking through fun golf names, Dick, and Birdie stuck with us, but Birdie with an E had already been taken. So it was, Birdie without an E.
Sometimes it's as simple as that.
Right. Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys. Fantastic job. Was there any other questions? Tom, you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think we'll follow up. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
awesome.
Great job, guys.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
Thank you all again. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thanks everyone for the time.
Dick,
Thank you.
Tim, David, Sharon, Kurt, Phil, Tom, thanks so much for being on all day long. I really, really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Jason. Interesting. Good day. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, well done, Jason.
Yep.
Thanks,
Bye now.
Jason.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
You may have saved the best for last too.
I told you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.